Hello, everybody, and thank you once again for joining us on the WRC YouTube channel. Today, we're bringing you the final stream of the Sankei Shimbun Cup 2024 to 2025 season, the individual finals. I'm Kyle, the person at the control today will be Nathanael, and we'll be hearing from him later. But for game one, I'll be joined by Corak. Hello.
Hello. Bunch of action today. We're going to start off with the wild card, that last position into the finals. Exciting stuff. And then, of course, the final two games for the championship.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Later on, we'll be seeing also from Jenn and Tipzntrix. Our broadcast today is sponsored by the WRC USPML. We hope you check out Sparrow's Nest, a New York Mahjong studio fully equipped with Slim Score, Ultimate, and Rex 3 order tables. WRC, of course, is the World Riichi Championship, the most prestigious and international Mahjong tournament in the world, held once every 3 years, the next of which will be in Tokyo this July. We're the WRC YouTube channel. If you're enjoying our broadcasts, please give us a like, maybe subscribe. It really helps that channel, and we'll have plenty more events like the next season of the Sankei Shimbun Cup. And next week, we'll be doing the Psycho Set team battle. But yes, the Sankei Shimbun Cup had 64 teams from Tokyo playing the Sector League, and 20 teams playing the Orb League in Western Japan. 3 Orb League players and 21 Sector League players made the finals this week. From the top 12 yesterday, we saw 3 of our 4 finalists earn their spot. And there is 1 space left, as Corak was saying. That will be decided in our first match today. One hand chan only. One last chance to advance. After that, the 4 confirmed finalists will have their scores reset. And we'll have 2 games to decide who takes the trophy. So, let's get right to it. Let's see who has their last chance to make this final. In this wildcard race, in the East seat, we'll be seeing Yukiko Izumi, representing Team Hachioji Keo from JPML. In the South seat, we have Kanako Maruyama, representing Team Little from SPM. In the West seat, we have HInata from Team TF Channel, representing Team from MPM. And finally, in the North seat, we have Hiroe Sugawara, representing Team Ronron from JPML. I think we should just get right to it. I want to see how these players do. One hand chan. I was talking about this yesterday. Sometimes the games end up being really, really quick, right? A player can get an early lead, and it's all about them just defending their lead rather than trying to score points. It can be a very fast, very exciting game.
Well, this is your last chance situation. You have 1 chance to win. Second is worthless. Third is worthless. Fourth is worthless. You're going for it all. 1 hanchan to get a spot into the finals.
Yeah, exactly. I think the game I watched yesterday was 42 minutes long because someone was able to get like a really, really early lead. I wonder if we'll see that today. I do like this start. A little bit slow, but we got that 1-2-3 mixture sequence sitting there tempting our dealer Izumi.
Saju looking very good. This looks like a Pinfu hand. Has 2 Dora, though. This hand has a bunch of honors. Probably Pinfu, though. And this has a south pair, but not the south seat. So maybe Riichi Domi. Really hard to make any value from it. 4, so might even throw this back. Might go 8, so.
I could definitely see Sugawara getting...
Ooh, completely abandons 1-2-3 Sanshku. Not even going to consider it here. That's a bit of a surprise.
That's actually a really good point. You can see Maruyama draw a pair there. I don't know if it necessarily is going to be a pairs round. We do see 2 players with pairs and or triplets. We'll see how lucky they get. But
Nadim pulled in, completes the kanchan there, cuts it down, wants to go Itsu. Might even be going Chinitsu with how those discards have been going. 1-mon pair, a whole bunch of them now.
For Sugawara. Opening up with the Cheeto would be very interesting, but no Dora. We see the Dora right here.
5 floated, possible 5, 6, 7 Sanshoku. 1 sewing, it connects with the 2, but it's just bad shapes all around. It just throws it back. Says this hand isn't likely to finish, so I want to hold a little bit more safety. Oh, that's just the 8, 6, 7 in the pond.
Is Ishanten, if we are going to go for 7 pairs with Dora too.
I think you just have to at this point. Yeah, I like the 6. If you get the 8, maybe you can move it towards a regular hand. 4 connects to the 3. Makes Pinfu shape a little better, but again, it's still slow. 4-mon. Ooh, that is a very nice draw. Maybe Itsu, maybe Chinitsu. Oh, well, there's your
That first tempai is
Tenpai.
right here.
Might
When we see a
Dama.
reach,
Yeah,
not
just
yet.
Dama's waiting for the 4-pin for Chitoitsu Dora 2. Just gotta look for a better way before you throw the stick in.
Exactly, yeah. That 4-pin, you don't need to reach on that. If we can find a once cut terminal or honor or something like that, something that might trick people, because honestly, her discards don't read like Chitoi at all, really.
Oh, and another Dora. That's frustrating.
Oh.
That's one of those cursed Chitoi situations. Ishunten now with a 5. South Onko.
That's the
Two people in Chitoi drawing their Onko.
But the difference is that she's got a triplet of the 3 bamboo, right? So maybe we can go for
ways to turn that into Suonko. Yeah.
Is this going to be our reach?
Almost has to be, and yes, it will be. Riichi Chitoitsu Dora 2.
I think the East is live, so we'll see if anyone draws any.
Oh, well, that's just going to be a chase. Riichi Pinfu 2-5mon. Most shapes you go, wait, is that actually Pinfu? And yes, with a 3-4-4-5, you actually use the 4 as a pair in a 3-4-5 run.
Probably do a second look, but I don't think I see any Easts in the hands right now, which means this is Suonko.
That's Suonko Tenpai.
Well, if you're gonna go for it, you better go for it. And with the reach on the table, you might as well reach yourself, I suppose.
Yeah, you have 2 of them that are just gonna Sumagiri anything.
Yeah. Even on a Ron, it's still 3 concealed triplets. All triplets, which is still very, very, very good.
Khan!
A chance.
Doesn't actually add anything immediately, but gives you another draw for that Suonko potential. 4, nope, needs a pin zoom, it needs the 8.
For a second, I thought it was 5-pin. I thought we were going to see a second Khan.
Another Khan. And the situation here is, how much do I want to fight this?
Yeah.
Because this on the table right now would have to throw the 7, will not do so.
The card did give our dealer a Dora, though. And actually, wait, that changes this Chitoi from Dora 2 to Dora 4.
Very expensive. Oh, well, you could actually challenge here with the 6 or even the 2 if you just want to take the Tenpai. It is Furiten, though.
Yes.
There's the one deals in Riichi Toitoi Sononko.
No error flips, but still,
nothing.
What a huge win. With the 3 Riichi sticks on top.
Yeah, so the Riichi sticks end up being half the value of the hand, effectively. Well, but you always Riichi there. There's no reason not to.
Oh, yeah.
Or if you flip the Aura 3 there, you jump to Baimon instantly, doubling the hand. And that's the thing about those toy type hands is if you never hit those Urador, they don't happen often, but when they do, they sting.
Yeah, and even if it was a different situation, because there's already someone else in reach, I guess if you're waiting on the tile they've discarded, maybe then you might consider Dharma, but otherwise, you're not folding to this reach. You might as well reach yourself so you have more to win, right? You have the same amount to lose.
Plus, even just the win rate difference is basically the same, and we're playing for first.
Exactly, yeah.
Ishunten already, and I believe we have the Haku Mochi Mochi here, pair locked.
I will say though, for
pair up,
Sugawara, she doesn't need a triplet there. Obviously, she'd like it, but
well, speaking of triplets, we have an 8-8-8. I think the idea is draw the 9, get rid of the 7, move that to 79 Sanshoku. You can use the 8 as the pair.
Yeah, of our Haku holders, I definitely think Sugawara has the advantage here.
5-pin, not great, but just going to continue getting rid of those honors. 4 Physics Sanjuga looking very good. Maybe just 1 2-mon, but this 1-mon is Dora. We'll do it anyway.
Yeah, I like how she's sort of hedging a little bit.
Yeah, if you pair the Dora up, you don't really care.
Yeah. But at the same time,
5 So extends this to Ryonkon. Has this floating 1-mon. We'll get rid of the Dora.
Most efficient discard. Maruyama is in last place, so she is going to be going for any hand she can win to keep her leadership.
There's the Dora pair up. Could be Chitoi as well.
I guess something I'm going to keep my eye open
Big
for the
connect
5
with the
pins.
778. This is now Ryanman, actually Ishunten, but would not have a Yaku other than Riichi, because the Haku is the pair, so no Pinfu. Another pair up. Wanted so hard to go for the 79 Sanjuku and not giving up on it.
I think it's really interesting. It's only the first 5 pin, and the other 3 are still on the wall. But it wasn't called to confirm that Sanchoki. I guess you don't need to, especially if you're going for first place.
7 so, well, this is Chitoi.
Another pair.
Ishunten, and you just have to go with the 5 so, don't you?
I believe so.
Eventually gets to it. Oh, well,
they
that's
finally call it.
confirmed Sanjuku. Riichi, Sanjuku, possible Haku. Tuso Haku,
But the
Tempai, and
Haku
we're going to see a
unlocks
chase.
away.
The Haku's locked up, and a Tuso also locked up in this hand. 1 4-pin versus the last Tuso.
So, Sugawara on what I like to call Pinfo, because it's fake. It's not actually Pinfu. When the dragon is a Yakuhai, when your pair is a Yakuhai.
Oh, there's the 1. Going to deal in.
There we go.
Riichi Patsu, or a 1.
Every hand is good if you just reach and get Uradora.
I mean, Patsu will help too. I'll certainly take it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's putting
Sugawara
Sugawara
now
in a very
way
good
up.
position here.
Yeah. This is the type of lead where you're like, I just want to start passing dealer. I don't even want to necessarily go on a run here at East 4 as dealer.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I only saw games 1 and 2 yesterday, but the last dealer had a very early lead in both games. So it's very interesting to see. I guess the bonus maybe of seat priority, but at the same time, she earned that hand 100%.
Ooh, that's a nice start. And we are only
Yeah,
East
huge.
3 here. But
Sugawara
here's the
continues to get really,
pension
really
cut.
hands.
1 pin. Oh, that's one of my least favorite shapes. The classic 13579 Itsu quote.
Yes. I think the Sozu in her hand, the bamboos, are more likely to become Itsu, frustratingly, than that 1357.
Yes, the Sozu is a very nice shape there with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8. 6 pin loosely connecting here. Not even much of a better shape with a 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. 5 connects with the 7. That actually advanced the hand a little bit here. 3 so, well, it looks cheap, but if you can get to Tempai, it's fine. Haku useless. Already seen 1 cut.
Yeah, Sugawara's still... She started 2 away, so... It makes sense. It's going to take a little
Well,
while. Well, we were talking about
you
Itsu earlier.
the 3 here, or do you throw the Dora? I just want to throw the 3 and go
Yeah,
for
I wouldn't want to throw a Dora, so I think you're right.
And also got one of the Pinzu because the shapes are awful regardless, and that's going to be the plan here. Cut the 1 pin. 5.
That 5 is
1,
useful.
2, 3, 4, 4, 5.
Another pair, but not a useful one.
Yeah, you
kind
of want to go Tanya with that, so...
Yeah.
Another Sozu draw. Do you ever dream Chiritsu? Nope.
No. I think it's a very, very interesting Sugawara because she's managed to draw a pair of both the East and the West, so no matter what, she's got a guaranteed Yaku.
Well, we see the North has been called now, Ishunten. Could also potentially cut the 3-4 and go hold Itsu.
That's very true as well.
Well, threw the 1 and then switched out and drew the 1 and going to hold it this time. 8 so not going to be held. There is a 678 Sanjuku. Will require a little bit of work, but not going to be taken. Another Sozu tile thrown back would now have an Anko with a bird.
Yeah, if only you knew. If only you could see the future, right?
Ishunten, and then you have Riichi Pinfu Dora 1 Ishunten. You'll take that every time. 8 pins actually very good tile and goes for it. Needs the 7 badly though. Also has a West and an East Shumpon.
I guess in an ideal world you can call both the West and the East and then use the pair of 8 pins as your pair instead, but that's a difficult world to live in.
Ooh, well, about Itsu. I mean, I just want to cut the 1 and not have to think very hard about it.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable. Who are we looking at here? Hinata, who is currently
I
in
think that
third
the decision
place.
here is which one. You want to cut the one mon or the one pin. And that's really the decision being made here. The 5? Really? Wow.
I
Okay,
agree,
yeah,
but
now
I
I see
kind
it.
of like
This is
it.
to pull into Itsu, because you can
Yeah.
cut the 3 and use the 4 as a pair.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Dora
Honestly, she's
pair
in third
up,
place. She's the dealer she needs first. So
6
absolutely.
pin, makes that shape much better. 7 fills in nicely. But the problem is, what are you going to do with this Dora? And cuts the 6
Yeah.
out, so gonna hold on to the Dora.
So do we see many Dora discarded right now, or are they all hidden? Because maybe you're just dreaming that you're just going to draw a pair. The only way I win this hand is if I draw a pair.
4, this is now a headless Ishanten.
Hmm.
And plan
no.
here is Dora Tonki pretty clearly. We're going to see the call down for Itsunomi. Waiting on 3 pin.
She is the dealer. There's not a lot of value, but obviously being able to keep that dealership is going to be value in itself.
7 connects with the 8, so
Still
can
no head,
have
but
a very wide Ryanman headless Ishanten now. Haku's
exactly.
a miss. Chune's a miss. Close, but no.
Close.
5, so isn't it? So that's Tempai. This is Dora Tonki Riichi. So Riichi Dora 2 here as Maruyama goes and throws the stick in.
Just doing a quick count of the Dora. We see obviously 2 here. And I don't think there's any way anyone is going to be playing Dora in this situation. But if there's one left to draw, there's one left to draw.
Only takes 1. We'll see the 9 pin come out here. Just dodge the pots. Oh, the 6 is a little tragic having got the 7. But the 3 is going to be drawn. Itsunome shut this down. Hinata says, give me that 1,000. And 1,500 from the rest of the table. I'm still in third place with quite a distance to go, but gets a repeat.
Yeah, the journey to first place might just begin with a single step. Maybe we can keep walking. Maybe we could take a giant leap. We'll
The
see.
other thing about it getting a repeat is everyone gets another hand.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, just buying yourself time and closing the gap a little bit, but buying yourself time more than anything else.
Yeah, that's when you see a hand that's just kind of a mess. You hope to get a better one like this hand.
This is
Dora
really nice,
3
exactly.
June.
Dora 3 Yakuhai. All right. Well,
This is a pretty good
Manga would be
starting hand
huge here.
too. This is a decent one, but not as good as the first 2. And this has an East pair and pretty good shapes, maybe a 2, 3, 4 Sanshigu in there somewhere, and a floating Chun. But I mean, dealer has the best by far. 3 so would really make this hand. I think they'd even Tempai on 3 so.
Okay, talking about that 2, 3, 4 Sanshoku, huge draw there.
Another Pinzu now with a 1, 2, 3, 4. 7 could turn this into an Ipeco. We'll cut the 1 now. This is headless. Two-pin pair up could just go Chi-Toy if you don't ever want to throw the Chun. Of course, we know that would be the absolute worst case.
Yeah, Chitoy, or even because we've got Yakuhai, maybe consider calling upon if the chance comes, but I don't know. We'll see.
Well,
If I draw a triplet, I
if
think
you
I
want
might
to
consider
drop
calling
a
these.
block on that 3 so, and we'll do so, keep the 3-bond floater and the 3, 4, 5, 6. I might have just gone 3-bond there.
In the meantime, Izumi potentially building a 6, 7, 8 mixable sequence. Still some other work left to go on that, but every tile that gets you a little bit closer.
9
going on.
useless. 5
Or
connects
5, 6,
here with
7.
the 6, 6, 7. There we're going to see a call. Now is Shanten. I imagine it's going to be 1 pin or 4 pin.
And I do like that call because obviously it doesn't reveal the fact that she has a Yakuhai or anything like that. Could easily just be, hey, I'm dealer, I'm just going to try and go for cheap wins. I don't mind taking in all simples. All the scores have disappeared. Was there a mistake in the scores?
Moves the Kanchon
It's not.
Formon.
I guess the other question is there ever a world where Maruyama
Oh,
cuts
well,
the
that's
Red
headless.
Dragon?
Can go ahead and get the 3. Speaking of 3s, a pair up here. We'll go ahead and cut the 1s instead. Maybe potential Tanya if you end up cutting the pay pair later.
Exactly. I think that was just an East draw. I think she's tripled that up.
There's our
We are going to see
call. There's
Tenpai
our
here.
Tenpai. We'll wait on 1 Sotanki, showing the Tanyao.
Yeah, I know, right?
But there's a Riichi here. This is, I believe,
Onso is
3-6,
safe
maybe
in her.
3-6-9.
Onso is safe in Sugawara's discards as well. So I could see it come out from someone who's folding to the reach. No fear from our dealer. But
Sumo
no,
Riichi
passes
Patsumo Pinfu Tanyao.
Nowhere a flip, but still another huge win for Sugawara.
Should be a Mongon there. And Sugawara just continues blowing this lead wide open.
I don't want to say that. I want to say congratulations to Sugawara for making the finals yet, but I'm starting to think that maybe it's time to say congratulations. You know,
There's a long way to go, but
that's true.
I'd much rather be 49 than anyone else.
Exactly. Yeah, everything that happens in the East round can be undone in the South round, just by the nature of Mahjong, but very nice to have that lead going into East 4.
As I mentioned earlier, it's an awkward situation where you kind of just want to pass the dealer without winning or running up the score that much. If the hand's great, then of course go for it, but at the same time, you don't want to get involved in a messy fight. There's a very nice hand with the Monzu connection there. This could
You
even
never
be
know.
Onitsu.
Like, even if your hand is like fast, but not necessarily great, you never know what the next hand's going to be, and maybe someone will just draw Yakuman. We did see someone Tenpai. Wow, Sugawara Tenpai for Suanko in East 1, right? So,
well, didn't got cashed in, just not for the Suanko.
Can lightning strike twice in one game? Maybe.
You could always hope, but I never expect to get it. If it comes, great. 5 fills in nicely with the 1, 2, 4, 4, 5, 6 now. Cuts the 1. 7 so the floor. Ugh, those shapes are not fun.
Yeah.
2 so connects here, can shift this down towards possible Junchan. 5 fits in nicely with the 3, 4, 4, 4. 8 mon pair up. I mean, it's just 2 so, 4 so, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is.
And you always go with the 2 first, because if you do draw the 5, you have a Rion Peiko Ishanten.
Yeah, exactly.
Bit of a backfire here on the early 1-pin cut. Getting the 2 sits on it for now. And IT 3 of the 1, you feel really sad on the 2. Oh, no!
The one tile.
The one tile that makes you very sad.
I guess we now don't ever force Rian Peiko. we can't risk being 3-10 on that. Although.
If you draw the 6, you can consider it, but I would still just go and throw it back.
There's gonna be
just as I say this,
well.
if you want to be fancy, you cut 6-7. This is a real decision.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially considering that Maruyama right now is in last place.
And says, no, we're not doing that.
Which makes sense.
He connects towards the Sanshku, but cuts away from it at the Pinzu.
Yeah, Hinata, she also kind of incredibly needs value, but I do respect trying to be efficient.
Okay, well, now it's which Pinfu do you want?
An interesting discard.
Trying to shift this up to a 5, 6, 7 Sanshku. I like it.
I was going to ask, like, maybe how do you feel about cutting the 5 man? Keeping the 5, 6, 7 chance on all 3 suits. I guess you still could draw the 7.
This locks in the 5 in one of them, and you get Ipeiko in Monzu if you don't have the 7 there.
Yeah, I think I just misread the hand. That's fair. Okay.
Another Monzu Tab, not going to really fit. pay. Nice safe tile. 2 should come out, and it does. Of course, it does feel sad when you look at your pawn and see it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 6, all in the same suit.
Yeah. But you never know, right? Unless you can see the future. You can't beat yourself over making the best decision at the time.
All the information is what you have in front of you. Oh, well, there's a
Oh, here
Pinfu
we go.
Tenpai. Riichi Pinfu.
Dharma, but still Tenpai.
Oh, Damas.
We see a lot of the 2s and 5s discarded, so I think she's just playing for her Tenpai payment. Or maybe
Yeah.
just hoping it's the one, it's already been discarded 50 times, I can play mine. I don't know. Yeah, we can see what 2 2s, 3 2s and a 5 just in the discards, let alone anything inside no one else's hand that's being used.
Yeah, figures the 5 won't come out if Riichi happens.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel you need to hit Sugawara with an Oyagabari here. Winning 1,000 doesn't do much.
Yeah. Unless the plan is to just be Tenpai and hope Sugawara was also Tenpai.
Well, but then you don't gain anything on her.
Yeah, you just get another hand and don't lose points, but it's not ideal, is it?
Throws the 8-bet. Could have thrown the Dora here, but live Dora turn 12. Not usually a fun discard. Especially with a Yakuhai Dora.
Yeah, I think this is the point where Sugawara's deciding, you know what, actually, I don't need to
this you have to Riichi. And yeah, was fishing for something, says, okay, we got our Tanya, this is good enough. And goes ahead and does take this one. Riichi Pinfu Tanya. Oh, and there's the
one of our
2. That's the last 2.
Oh, well, there's still some 5s out there. I think. I'll have to do another count. In case there are any hidden in hands. I see 1 in discards.
I think I've seen at least 2 of them.
Yeah. But you only need 1. As long as there's life, there's hope, right?
And it is 2 of them left.
Yeah.
That 7 feels like a fold. Not going to call it down and try to chase this with the 49,000. That's perfectly reasonable. 6 is close, needs the 5, but that's not it. There's the 5. This should be a chase. Have to throw the 3. There's a Riichi. This is Riichi, Pinfu, Tanyo, and either Ipeiko or Sanshoku.
Yeah, no matter which way, it's still going to be something.
Mongon minimum here. But it's only Mongon if you win the hand.
It's not going to get played. Although it was played right before the reach. I don't think... Oh, maybe. She's thinking about it. Oh, no. It was safe 1 turn ago, but things changed. There was a second reach. Plays the 8 instead.
Thinking about it for a while, gets to the 8.
Definitely easy beginner trap 2.
There's the 5 going to deal in Riichi Pinfu Tanyao. No, that shoot. If you had the some real value there, if you could have gotten that one closed, but instead would be the 3,900. And Izumi closed the gap a little bit. Not the worst outcome for Sugawara, but not the ideal one for her.
If Izumi can make South 1 count, we can definitely see.
Yes, this is probably the most important hand until you get to South 4.
Yeah, exactly.
As Hinata needs a lot of help. Maruyama is honestly kind of flailing at this point. We have to make up 41,500 in South round. It's pretty grim.
I'm sadly not that impressed by Izumi start. But that just means there's more room to grow, right?
Go. Says a West pair that is a Yakuhai. This is kind of Pinfu, but a couple pairs. This is not very good. 8-mon pair up. You have the overlap on the Pinzu. The good news is the overlap is Dora with a 1, 2, 4, 5 needing 3-pin. And the 3 connects to the 2, but again, the hand feels slow. All these hands feel at least somewhat slow. None of them are good hands.
Yeah, especially when all the players here, or at least maybe all the players except for Sugawara, are going to be playing for value. Because you've got a win condition. You can't just make 1,000 points here in the South round from this far behind. It's just
No, you just don't have time for it. Ooh, interesting draw on the 7. Could go for the Sanjuku here, but you lose your pair. And I'll go ahead and shift the Sozu 7 out. 1 mon is a miss. Haku pair up. Few pairs in that hand. 6
Yeah,
connects with the 7-8 nicely. Of course, it doesn't mean Itsu's probably dead now.
I'm trying to feel like how Hinata gets more than
5.
maybe.
Ooh, that's a really nice draw. And have the Peiko.
This
I
is
think
good.
you have to
Yeah.
cut the 3 pin here regardless. Cuts the 6. Interesting.
Unwilling to play Dora. I get
Yeah,
it.
doesn't want to throw the Dora.
Greedy.
Says that it's in there, and that's what the hand's going to be.
Yeah, it's greedy, but at the same time, she needs the points.
It's
right?
understandable with the
Yeah.
scores as they are. It feels really bad if you cut the Dora and then draw another one.
Yeah, exactly. It kind of happened, right, with the Red Dragon earlier. So
Well, also, this does at least give you the option to call the West with at least one Dora.
yeah, it's very true as well.
South gets tossed back. 9 so is a miss.
I usually don't mind the shape where you've got a sort of, I guess, bloated shape where you've got like a pair inside a sequence, but having 2 just feels kind of uncomfortable here for poor Maruyama.
I don't know. I love that shape. It just means you have Ipeiko.
I mean, Rianpeg would be very nice. I do agree that had, but
Well,
also
Riyadh Peiko might be a bit much, but you have 2 Ipeiko options. Oh, and there is our upgrade with the Dora drawn into Headless Ishunten, Kanchan Ryanman.
Izumi really giving
Well,
it.
there's
Oh,
your
another
Dora draw. We found out where the Dora were, and there's a perfect
reach.
draw. We're going to take
9
the
has been discarded
Senpai.
thrice at this point, sadly, but 6-9 is the way.
It is Riichi Pinfu Dora 1.
Sorry, someone just knocked my door.
Oh, and there's the backfire, having not cut the 3 earlier.
Yeah.
2-mon pair up, might just go pay, does. 2-mon, nope, still 6-9. So have that early 7 in your pawn, so there's a bit of a Sotagawa trap out there.
Yeah, it's discard 4, but I guess it's the first discard after honor tiles, so yeah, exactly.
Well, that 4, yeah, just gonna move this towards Tanyao. Ugh. Haku, maybe?
Yeah, if you're playing defensively, I guess.
Could also just shove the 2, say I don't really care.
You should still go to the ship less, so you don't have to be super duper aggressive, but at the same time, yeah, it's rough. It's really rough. And there's that potential Piotr sequence we were talking about earlier.
There is another Haku. And the problem is here, even cutting from the Haku pair, you're wondering, wait, where's the last one?
Yeah, exactly.
Someone has to have a pair. Oh, well, we have Ishunten for... Nope, never mind. It's Ishunten for Chitoi.
Yeah.
I was going to say that Rion Peiko back in did actually move there. But we'll just take the Chitoi Ishan.
Yeah, I think it's honestly fine.
I agree. I
Hand
think
like
you
that
just want Tenpai
late.
at this point.
Yeah, my main focus is just, hey, how do I not deal in? Can I not be dealed in and also still be Tenpai? Because the dealer is in reach, so as long as no one wins, the hand will repeat. We'll see a second South
Yeah,
one.
you will get another hand. You just don't want to also lose points. So Tenpai is very important here.
Exactly, yeah.
There's the Chi. That's going to be Tenpai. This is a 3/6/7 mon weight. The classic
There is
Impulsu
a
shape.
right here, but yeah, I don't think we're going to see it come out.
Or so
Our last remaining 6
comes out.
You see, obviously, plenty around, but yeah, we are going to eventually see the White Dragons get cut.
2-mon is it. Close, but not it. And that's a fold. Says, you know what? I'm done here. It's fine. There's the 9, but it's the wrong suit. Needs the Sozu. Close the 5, so
This may be the ideal situation for Izumi. Obviously, winning would be pretty nice too, but being
Yes,
Tenpai,
1500 each. Of course, that means there's a stick and a repeat counter now.
but 2,000 points closer to Sugawara, and we get to go for a repeat.
Well, as the
And if
gap
she
a
wins
small
the next hand, she
amount.
gets 1,000 points back.
Yeah, so Hinata knows she has to jump Izumi anyway, so not losing any ground. Actually gaining a ground with the 1,000 because the Riichi stick in there is a slight benefit, but chasing everyone down is the goal of everyone to find Sugawara.
Yeah, exactly. So 1,300 points available. The White Dragon's Ardora,
pair.
which does make this Green Dragon pair less exciting.
Well, I mean, I
That's
feel
not
it's a
true.
call and go. The shapes are okay there,
No.
maybe 3 for 5 or 4 6 Sonshu, but I just want to win the hand. This one there is a great hand. Double south,
Yeah.
maybe Horetsu.
Just build your own half flush with
Two
Dora
on
at
great
home.
fill there with the 1 3 3 4. Two's always your preferred draw there. And the two so here and has a north pair, which is Yakuhai. A lot of reasonably fast callable hands.
Yeah, it's one of these things we say it's
This is
callable.
now Ishan 10. We'll cut the 8-mon.
But say from Maruyama's perspective, do I think that she, actually no, I do think she's likely to call that. Sorry, I take it back.
Pair up. Could even be potentially Chi-Toy or even Toy. And by the way, Haku's Dora too.
Yeah, exactly.
6 connects nicely. Now Ishunten, and there's the first call. Takes the south pole. Tons of value, and they're going to see the north call. This is now Tenpai waiting on 7, so. As Sugawara says, get me out of here. 7, an amazing upgrade.
Yeah.
Again, that is with 2 Dora and already a confirmed double south. And this honeymoon minimum of its finishes. And there's our Tenpai waiting on 4, 7, and Haku. And of course, Haku would be Hanemon. And this is also a super wide Ishan 10. Headless. We'll go ahead and cut the 7.
So by my count, there are 5 tiles left for this half flush.
Ken switch this to an Intotsu, cutting the 9, going for a 258. Not the normal 258 shape, but it is. Five, so there's the 5. That's going to shut this down. Get me my 1,300. I know there's something dangerous to this table. I want 1 Han.
You definitely tried Maruyama. Props. Like, we saw what you did. We noticed. But Sugawara just taking control as we move on to South 2.
Makes it much harder for Izumi now. Now, Maruyama trying to build that big hand and go on a dealer run here. 7 pin is Dora. We see a Hatsu pair.
Yeah, 20,000
okay. Might be call and go. You'd love to keep this closed, though. Especially that Manzu shape. We have any Peiko in there. Could even be Chi-Toy, potentially. This looks like a Pinfu hand. 4, so it would really help. Of course, you have the overlap in the 5 pin. This is nice shape in Manzu with the 1 4 5 5 6 7 9 9. There's the call of the East. Might just be Honetsu. We'll cut the 8. That definitely looks like Honetsu. Don't keep the door acceptance.
Yeah. In an ideal world, she could also get the dragon, but we know that they are being held as a pair. 2 players with 2 greens each, unfortunately. Oh, this is interesting. Could make a sand jockey with that Dora 7, but I'm trying to think of ways we can actually incorporate it.
3 connection ice with the 4. There goes the pay. That does also get interrupted. Now you have the question: how greedy do you want to be? Do you play for Suiso? Do you play for Shosushi? Do you play for Chanta? Do you just play most efficiently and ends up cutting the West?
Yeah, Izumi only needs 20,000 points, which, I mean, it's a lot, but that's maybe 2 direct hits. If we can get mangans each, it'll do it. But
yeah, you do have time.
True. Izumi does not have a dealership left, though, so I would be a little bit concerned and trying to make something big happen.
6 pair up, goes and cuts the 2. Doesn't want to go Chitoy with this.
I think he's just too slow in this situation.
Haku's pretty useless. Will get tossed back. Wants to go Honitsu and Manzu, though. 4 can shift this around. The question, you have the 2, 3, 4 Sanjigo. I think you just go for it.
Yeah, I think it's perfectly fine to cut the 5 here.
I'd cut the 5. I don't believe I'd even take this long. The question is, do I really want to fish for Itsu? Could also go 6, 7, but you don't ever really want to cut the Dora here, so I just cut the 5.
The really, really spicy decision, which I don't agree with, but really spicy would be to cut 1 so, add all simples into this hand. It's so much slower.
You have so much acceptance for the headless shape there. There are times I would do that. South 2, probably not. South 4, oh, absolutely.
Fair. But yeah, just looking at the score gaps, like, maybe I'd think about that? I don't know.
Chun, pretty useless here. Of course, Haku is 100% safe, and we'll go ahead and cut it. 7 Mon's a miss. Of course, that always feels bad when you call twice for Horitsu, and that's the rest of your hand.
Yeah, unfortunately.
4 Mon, perfect
Oh,
draw here. You have the overlap, but yeah, I like, okay, full greed. Cuts the 7-8. This is now a 3, 4, 6, 7, where if you can get the 2 pin, it's also Sanjigo, but you do have the overlap on the 5.
Yeah.
3 so, good floater. We'll go ahead and cut the 9 so.
Okay, 6 lets you accept Dora, but I think at this point it's more about
3.
just
Oh,
not
no, that's not it. Still perfect Ishanten, though.
I guess the really big problem with the 2-4 mixture sequence, right, is that I think it's impossible, actually, isn't it? We see all 4 of the 2 pins in discards.
Let's see, 1, 2. Yeah, I see all 4 of them now.
So,
3, 4 is
yeah,
actually
something I hadn't
useless.
considered until this point, but maybe that's why she was spending so long thinking about the 5 so. Because
Right.
we know where all the 2 pins are. That's my bet for not noticing that.
Well, if you had noticed at the time, I think you'd always cut the lower Pinzu then. Because you already need the 5 for the 6, 7. 6 so is a miss. Oh, and there's your backfire. You see the 6, 7, 8 in the pond. This could be Tempai.
Unfortunate.
5 Mon Anko here. Kind of an awkward shape. We'll try and brute force the Tanya out of it. 9 pin is a miss. 9 so is a miss. And 7 Mon is a miss. 5 pin. Oh, and that 5 pin is dying off. 7 so pair up, but still not as close as it looks.
No. Okay, there's the last 7.
Do you ever go Hatsu? Yeah, just cuts the
Giving up on the
8
pure
down.
sequence, but I think totally fair in that case. Dora's as good as a pure sequence.
Then cut the 3 in Pinzu. 5. Okay, well now you're Ishanten. Very wide.
After all this time, finally 1 away.
Ugh.
Yeah, that's...
3 Mon, 4 Mon, or 7, 8 Mon. I feel your choices. You don't really want to throw the Hatsu, but at the same time, you feel it's probably pair locked with the open hand.
If you've gone this long and you've not seen a single Hatsu get discarded...
I like the 4 for that reason. Right? You don't need extra pairs in this hand. And didn't see what she got to discard, but...
You could definitely see she was not very happy about it.
No. Oh, there's the 2. Could turn this into an Ipeko on the 4
Yeah, I like that. Especially now all the 2 pins are gone. Still finding a way to get some value out of this, if we're lucky.
1 Mon, not it. Even Pei doesn't feel great to throw, but we'll do it anyway. Was that Poland? I feel that was Poland. Oh, there's the 3, the backfire. Would have had the Anko and Tempai.
I guess, yeah, I guess you can't.
There's Tempai. 3-sided, 2, 5, 8.
I was thinking about trying to make a case for cutting the 1-sos, but not when the player's doing a half flush. You can't.
Oh, that's a super wide shape.
This sure is.
This is a wait. Is there a Sanshiko here? And I don't think there is.
Yeah, no, not without drawing an upgrade to either the 4-5 or the 5 or the 6-7 there.
Yeah, I'll have to do a shift on one way or the other to get there. 9, not a great tableau, and cut the 4. 3 mon is not it. 1 so, which I don't think you'd throw that at the Hoditsu,
No.
so that's a fold.
But yeah, I thought it was very interesting. The hand we're seeing there could have swapped the 1-so pair for the 3-pin pair, but it's just not safe enough to play the 1-so.
7-pin pair up, can go 9, can go 1, 2. We're going to throw that 9.
Yeah, I think at
8-pin
this
isn't
point-
it. Could chi for Tempai. I like this. Try and sneak some
Okay.
payments out. Does have to shove the 1, which doesn't feel great. Interestingly, the 1 so is not called. If you're there, Maruyama, you have to call the 1 so and just shove it.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it's just rough. I don't know.
Everything's
I don't know what I would do in
rough.
that
But if you're
situation.
HInata, you could definitely pass.
Yeah. So it looks like this is going to go to 2 players Tempai. And the dealership will pass on again. Maruyama is not
what we
quite
see.
there.
2
Oh, no, she
players
is.
Senpai, and they see the Hoditsu and go, yeah, we kind of figured.
Yeah.
The dealer will not pass because Maruyama was one of those.
For some reason, I think I mixed Maruyama and Hinata's hand there. But absolutely, yes. So, South 2 gets another repeat. Izumi gets to just sneak a little bit closer to Sugawara.
Yeah, and Hinata drops a little bit more. Can't really afford that at this point, but does have a dealer turn still. Maruyama, though, is just, you have to shove everything. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly.
Great
Oh, the stress
starting in
comes back
here. Has a
playing this
floating door. Would
format.
love a Dora pair up. That's the only complaint I have of this hand. But you have a Hatsu pair, so you can always pull in a potentially Dora Tonki.
Yeah, definitely.
Pinfu type hand. Very nice shapes there. Can also extra door. This has a floating door as well and a south pair. Maybe a call and go. Speaking of south,
Oh.
we'll hold it for now. Just gonna go to the 1 so. 2 so pair up. Turns into a 2-2-3. 7 mon. Good floater. Surprised that wasn't kept over the 1 so. 4 extends the shape here in Sozu. 3-4-4-5. 6 pin extends the 1-3-3-5. But the question is, what's the plan for this hand?
Yeah, Izumi needs to make some value in 3 hands.
I do not like the 7 cut there. You kill out your 6-7-8 Sanj or 5-6-7 Sanjiku route. You give up your Dora acceptance. It's basically a greed any honor, and I don't like doing that when I have that many.
I think that's very fair, yeah.
First Dora cut, 7 mon paired up. Might just going Cheetoy now.
Yeah, Sugawara doesn't need to necessarily win with
You gonna
Dora.
see a con? Yes, we will.
Oh. Well, hello, Maruyama. What are you...
It is Ishanten.
That is a useful draw. What's our new Dora? It is a Onatile. It is the Red Dragon. Okay.
But the problem is that means that's one of those Hatsu out. So when you have
That's
a Hatsu
true.
Shampon, it does not feel good to see that come up.
Yeah, I guess you could maybe treat it like a once cut dragon now because it has been.
Yes, you're playing
But-
defense, you have to, but it's still frustrating.
But yeah, because it hasn't been played on the actual table, no one's had a chance to pawn it yet. Which
We're
is
going to see, speaking of
information.
pawns, there goes the south,
Yeah.
just going for that one Han Ishanten.
Sugawara wants to move this game along. Absolutely fair and reasonable.
West isn't it? Tone isn't it? That is Tempai now, waiting on 3 mon. 9 pin
Can we
can
see-
hedge the Itsu, but you have that Chun to get rid of, so you're never throwing that. The West gets thrown back. Or so you maybe connect to the 6, but I like just discarding it.
There are 2 3-mons out there, I believe. 2 are being held by the player right before her. Right here.
There's Tempai.
Ooh.
This should just be a slam. There it goes. Riichi Dora
Riichi.
1 4-pin.
But with 2 arrow flips, it could be
You
very,
can
very
have an
valuable.
Onko here with a 9. Can go for a Tonki, and we'll throw the 2 waiting on the 4 now. 7. Okay, can move this towards an
Possible
Itsu.
Itsu, maybe? Yeah, I could see it.
One so safe. 8. This is
Okay,
actually,
so
if you
7,
throw
8.
the 4, it's a 7, 8. Wait, doesn't want
But the
to.
4 is
Throws
just
the
not.
8, staying on the 4. Speaking of 4s, one drawn here.
Yeah, Sugawara doesn't necessarily. I guess Sugawara doesn't mind Hinata winning this hand, right? It doesn't hurt her too much.
No, it's perfectly fine as long as there isn't
She,
some massive aura flip.
so she can absolutely fold this. Win if someone cuts the 4, of course, but she can absolutely
Yes.
fold this.
One pin, that's the deal in tile.
And
Out
there it
it
is.
goes.
So,
Dora
Reach.
1.
How many error? 1.
I think
Only
1.
The 3-pin is an error. I think
Yeah.
the 4 doesn't give anything, sadly.
Light
But
kind of
still.
hit the tiles a bit there, but 5,500, and that's the end of Maruyama, barring a Yakuman storm back. Hinata still is a lot of work. Izumi's running out of hands. Great result for Sugawara.
Yeah, speaking of a storm, there is now some wind in Hinata's sails as she gets a little boost before going into her last dealership. A lot of work to be done, but 28,000 is doable in a dealership, for sure.
Certainly, but it's 28,000.
Did I say
A couple
27? Oh, sorry,
Mongun sumos would be good enough, but it's doable. It's just not the ideal position. That is a kind of a painful map. You have so many honors to get rid
yeah,
of.
there's a lot of mess to clean up, sadly, but
The classic newbie trap. Hey, I have one of each dragon. That means I have a Daisangan hand, right? Right?
to be innocent once, it's nice, right?
It is nice. We always have to remember these things and appreciate the game.
And sometimes when you're playing to your win condition is a Yakuban, you have to go for it.
Yes. And 8 connects here with the 9. And now
Ooh, very
Penshan needing a 7. We see 2 of those 7s here. Chun pair can accept a Dora, potentially even can accept 2 Dora here. 1 pin connects with the 2-4.
Yeah, it gives
Cusco
that
pair up.
potential 1 to 3
Might just
neutral
go
steals.
Tanyo. There goes the Hatsu.
But yeah, I do see Izumi here potentially with value. I mean, it's a long way away for the Itsu in man tiles, but if you're dreaming big, and you need to dream big because you've got 2 hands to make up this gap.
I see the 9 so Onko now. Hands moving a little bit forward, but just not any value even now.
Yeah, I do not envy Maruyama's position.
One pin completes the shape there, has a Dora as well. 4 Mon, actually that's a really good tile, possibly Peiko shifts. Can potentially even get rid of that 8-9, but you don't really want to get rid of the 8-9 because the 8's Dora.
Yeah, exactly. I was talking about Itsu, but I don't think it's going to be that anymore. I think you're right.
Keeps the Shunten. Ideally, what you want to do is just draw the Dora, pair it up, and then cut the 9, get rid of your ugly Penchon.
That would definitely solve a lot of problems. How many Dora left, actually, though? A lot of players are
Also
holding
pulled in,
1.
actually a 1-1, 2-3-4, 4-6 shape. 3 so's a miss. Threw one of them already.
Yeah, there is only 1 8-man left, so could belong to anyone.
Ugh. 6 so pair up. I feel that just always Tanya now. You're gonna
Yeah.
have to cut the 1-1. 9 pin is a miss. 1 ugh.
Yeah.
Does not feel good that you're getting towards the middle second round and you just draw into a 1-3-5-7 shape. The obligatory oh thanks game. Now the 2 so Onko there turns into a headless Onko situation.
Okay, we can definitely cut the 9 now.
Yeah, you definitely throw the 9.
But I still don't really want to deal. I don't want to reach on a 6-8 shape. That's not where I want this hand to end.
If it's the only thing you have, I suppose you take it, but you.
True.
Or there is Tempai. Well, Dama here on 2-5. Sugawara just needs the handover, doesn't need points at all.
Yeah, exactly. There's a 5. Danger has been sensed and avoided. Unfortunately, that does mean Maruyama is not going to be able to make an attack of her own this hand, unfortunately.
Tumon. Is that Tempai? Yes, it is. That is Tempai.
is.
You just reach the 6 and hope you draw the 7, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, it still reached Tanya Dora. It's something.
Well, not only that, you assume here you reach Sumo Tanya Dora if you have to take this.
Yes, true.
Will Dama.
I just don't know what the upgrade is that you're waiting for. If you're Izumi, I feel like you just have to go for it.
Here. This feels like a K10 play rather than actual value play, but you never throw the Dora, so maybe we'll cut 1-1 later.
See it.
The only real upgrade in value on that hand is the Dora pair up or the Peiko. So there are routes to it, but there's the Dora.
Exactly.
Does get thrown.
Yeah, now one's been thrown. It's not even called. I don't know if that emboldens you or worries you.
Well, it means you have to assume it's Tempai. And I do not like Dama here. I just immediately assume I'm going to reach you this. Instead, try and maneuver around here. Breaks Tempai.
I guess Izumi could theoretically now play the Dora. Well, as long as no one else changes their hand, which this has just happened.
South isn't it? Still waiting on the 2-5 Mon. Of course, we know any of those upgrades, quote unquote, on the 2-5 Mon will deal in.
I'm going to play the 5 for Bamboo earlier. Still unwilling to play it now.
2 peen. Well, this makes it more callable, but instead we'll just Karagiri. 7 can move this towards Tanya. You just got the 1 pin here. Now
I don't see why you wouldn't take the upgrade.
Tanya Dora 1. There's the 2. Will not deal it though.
Yeah, Maruyama. If I were her, I'd be way more aggressive in this situation, but I'd probably also be way more in the negative.
Dora. 7, another pair up in this hand. This hand is pretty cursed. Could have actually been Chitoi, but it managed to dodge the deal in holding that tune. Or throwing that tune and holding that 2.
That's fair, yeah. I know it's a bit late now, but I actually kind of admire how Izumi maybe was flooded with the idea of a Sanshoku to get that value. I hadn't noticed that until just now. The 6-7 possibly could have made a 5-6-7.
Well, now you see a K10 call here.
Yep, no Yaku at all, but it's
with this late, you don't really need a Yaku, do you?
Exactly. I mean, last tile could theoretically, I guess.
Throws the Dora. Does give a Chi. I imagine there's a Chi cut north. This feels like an I don't want the last draw, so I'll let you do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, you just cut the 1 safely.
Or maybe they're trying to angle for that. Well, yeah.
And we see 2 players Tempai.
So our dealer manages to keep fighting a little bit longer, but the gap to Sugawara does not change. It does for Izumi, though.
Yeah, Izumi's condition getting harder and harder.
Still, there are 300 more points.
1 here. Hinata will be dealer again. No Riichi 6 in the middle, just the Hombo.
How are we seeing here? 2 pairs.
3 pairs.
Wow.
Toy Toy.
Toy Toy West? Yeah, the West isn't a Yaku, but still.
The West isn't a Yaku. This is one where pros go Chitoi, but it's a very callable hand. I don't mind the Toy Toy Tomi play.
Okay. Yeah, I tend to prefer Chitoi over Toy Toy. We talk about this all over the streams quite a lot, I think. Although, never specifically asked.
The Chitoi versus Toy Toy debate, it's really amusing one because you look at statistics and the rate of Chitoi slightly goes up as you get more advanced, but the rate of Toy Toy just plummets.
Yeah. Honestly, I think it's because oftentimes you end up calling yourself into a corner, right? You have the chance to win more points, which is great, especially in this situation where you need those points. But Just if you call too many times, you've got 1 or 2 tiles. If you've got 4 tiles left in your hand, you might be tenpai, but also you can't fold anymore.
I think that's for me just a day ending and why.
Fair. You know what? I respect it. Is this already
That is
tenpai?
Tenpai, by the way. Will Dama here taking the 4 does not take the Dora Jambon. And the reason is because Sugawara doesn't need the value.
Yeah, you can still call Dora for it and get the 2-sided weight as well. So like, absolutely, if the Dora comes out, you can pawn. You can always try and maybe even fetch the 3-sided weight as well, which you could then deal down.
5-pin pair up can go Chitoi.
Yeah, I almost want to go for a half flash that hand if I'm Hina. Sorry, if I'm Maruyama, but that's because I just really desperately want points.
Tanya, Dora 2, and everyone goes, huh? Huh?
Yeah. Sorry, it's South 4 now, guys. Sorry.
Thanks for the sticks.
Thanks.
And just no one can stop Sugawara here. And this is Yakuman condition for everyone except Maruyama, who I think needs double Yakuman.
I think that's also a very good point to talk about. Like a lot of the times, if your hand is Mangan already, it's not usually optimal to Dama, right? Especially if you've got a bad weight.
Bad weight Dama is almost always... bad weight Mangan is almost always Dama, statistically. Good weight Dama is actually... You are supposed to Riichi early.
Yes. Yeah.
And too many people internalize that, hey, I have Mangan, I should Dama. But you end up losing estimated value, the average potential for a hand, if you do Dama, especially like a turn 4. It actually ends up being even, I believe, somewhere around turn 10 or turn 11. It's much later than you would expect.
Yeah, I used to have the charts memorized, but I just vaguely remember the gist. But yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a really good point, given Sugawara's tempo there, though.
Well, so the
we're seeing
problem
people
here
face their
is
win conditions.
Izumi not only must Yakuman, but must Yakuman Sumo or direct. Same for Hinata, and Maruyama must double Yakuman off anyone.
So we get the fun, scary moment for Sugawara because she's last dealer. She can't win this quickly to end the hand.
Yes, one of the things that you get very frustrated about in Mahjong is you can't just muck the hand and say, hey, I'm done. We'll limit our losses and move on. That's not how it works.
Yeah,
Every tile must be drawn and discarded until someone declares that win or you get to the end of the wall. But these hands do not look like they are hitting Yakuman.
There was one that was potentially headed towards orphans, but Izumi's definitely isn't, sadly. Neither is
What's the other
Maruyama's.
condition here? I don't even, let's see, is direct Baimon enough? I don't think so. No, it's 400 short. So it's direct Sambai for Izumi and I believe Hinata. And alternatively, Yakuman Sumo. So this is one where I think we can be a little preemptive and congratulate Sugawara. We could go over the hands initially, but again, we don't really care about the individuals of the hand. It's does anyone have a chance to win and make what they actually need? And the answer is no.
Izumi's building a closed full flush, potentially, but it's a long shot, even that. And as you say, I think pretty sure she would need a direct hit and possibly even.
Yeah, and of course, all Sugawara has to do is not deal into it.
Exactly.
Because even if you do even Sanbai Sumo, which is ridiculous for a Chinitsu, that's still not enough.
Exactly, yeah.
Let's see, 24. Let's see. Oh, no, that would be. Sanbai Sumo, I think, is enough. Because the Oyakabri, that'd be 36. Yeah, that would be enough. For Izumi.
Yeah. Even so, though. It's pretty far away, unfortunately. I don't think Maybe. I mean, we always have to keep the idea in mind, but
And of course,
Yes,
Hinata
Tateno's
just
hand
fishing
is-
for a Kokushi.
just not quite there. And you can see what Sugawara's doing, like just
Haku
cutting Dora
Kara.
because she's like, you know what? I'm just gonna fold. I'm gonna cut the Dora now before anyone has a chance to call it, and especially considering you're going for orphans. I can
Yeah,
see
exactly. And if they just surprise backed into it, even if you deal into, say, Tanyao Sanji Gudora 3, it's
that. Yeah,
fine.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I respect Mario. I think she's trying to go for like a Jun-chan hand, but it's just not going to be enough. I don't think there's any world where that's enough.
No. And again, we could go in and do some advanced analysis of these hands, but there's not really a reason to. They're playing
Yeah.
their conditions, and that's all you need to worry about. The East pair getting closer, I mean, might end up being one of the most cursed hands of all time, which is Honroto Chitoitsu.
That would be pretty exciting. Yeah, I guess we could just say like congratulations to everyone who made it to this point. Like even making top 24 is a
yes.
huge achievement. We had,
Again,
what,
these are going to
80
be your 5th through 7th between Hinata, Maruyama, and Izumi, which is a very strong performance. Just think about how big this tournament is, how many people started off.
Yeah, we had what 64 teams. So and 84 teams. If we count everyone together, and every team had like 2 or 3 people in. So to be individually top 7, as you're saying, is so impressive. It's incredible. Well, just want to say
We do
like,
have
well done to
Chitoi
everybody.
Tenpai now, Chitoi Honitsu, but again, that's not going to be enough. We'll
Exactly.
have to cut the 4, turn this into an Anko, and then double Yakuhai, Chanta, Ipeiko, Honitsu is still not enough.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately. But we are going to have 2 more games after this, with presumably Sugawara in the final 4.
Congratulations, Sugawara, on making the finals. This is Tenpai. This is the Tenpai. I mean, I guess you slam, but are there even enough draws for it? I don't think so.
No.
Yeah, that's the last one.
It's the last
and
draw.
shows off the monster head. I did get the Tenpai, ladies, but was a little late here, and he's going to pick up the 3,000. Sugawara, though, advances to the grand finals.
Which will be in about 5 minutes or so.
Yes, once again,
Yeah, we're getting right to it.
Izumi, well played with the second, Hinata in third, and Maruyama there. The minus 2,600, but again, it doesn't matter if you're a distant fourth versus a close second. It's all or nothing in that situation.
Exactly. Everyone was playing to their win condition, and sometimes that means you've got to be a little bit more greedy, got to go for a little bit more value, and it's great to watch. It doesn't feel great to play sometimes, but it's great to watch.
No, I hate building that. I generally know how to... I can find a way to build a Baimon, but if you have to fish for Yakumon or even some Baimon, you're going to need some help.
Exactly. But yeah, so congratulations. And for the next game, we're both hanging out, I believe. Because we're going to be
right.
casting this with Nathanael and Tips.
Hello, everybody. How are you doing?
Hello, hello, hello. We saw someone get a nice early lead.
And hold on to it.
Hold on to it. Honestly, they didn't just hold on to it, they made it wider as the game went on.
Congratulations, Sugawara.
Yuma Mongon in South 3 to just ruin the dreams of everyone.
Yeah, it was a tough spot for Maruyama for sure.
Do you guys have any predictions for the final 4? I knew Sugawara made it because I wrote the script today, but I didn't know who wins the next bit. The next bit I'm going to be watching when you guys start broadcasting. I think Sugawara's all warmed up. I think she's gonna smash it. That's my guess. Our comeback winner is gonna win the whole thing.
I mean, that's a good bet. I feel like but
I'm not gonna bet against Uotani. She just plays so well.
That's a good point. But I feel like there's just with only a couple of games, like 1 or 2 games, it's hard to make any 100% prediction.
My 100% prediction is that it's going to be a really exciting game to watch. That's all I can give you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to drop out. Wish you two well and hope the finals is as exciting as we've had this entire tournament.
Thanks so much, you two.
Corak.
Thanks WRC for having us on, and see you next event.
Well, Tips, you and me, one
Welcome.
game 1 of 2 for the final table. Congratulations again to Sugawara for making the final table. Let's take a look at the players for game number 2
All right.
of the evening, but game number 1 of the finals. As our first dealer,
As Corak mentioned. Yep, go right ahead.
we have Tomi. Congratulations to Tomi for making it to the final tables yesterday. Same for Izumi Kitahara in the south seat. And in the north seat, Yuumi Uotani also making it to the grand finals in yesterday's games. And in the west seat will be Hiroe Sugawara, who we just saw take that one Hanchan wildcard match down.
Yep, she's just cemented her spot in this matchup here. In this game 1 matchup by her good play in the first game. That is the one Hanchan format there is it's wild. You have to do whatever you can in there.
Yeah, there's a little
Everyone
bit,
had to go for the top, and she made it clear that was her position right from East 1.
a little bit more flexibility in a 2-game final, 2 Hanchan final, but it still feels like there's a lot of the same incentives to come out swinging in game number 1.
Yes, I don't think any player can not swing here. You can't afford to take a third and just avoid last. Everything is first or second here. If you get a third in the first game, it's pretty hard to come back in the second game. It's definitely doable, but you have your work cut out for you with the UMA. You really want a first place.
All right, well, that being said, let's just get right into it. The finals. Final
All
two
right.
Hanchan.
Big finals. Thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel, everyone, as we get ready to get started.
In the
Players.
seat, Tomi representing Team Ampai. South seat, Kitahara representing Karaoke Mentanpin. West seat, Sugawara representing Ronron. And in the north seat, Uotani representing Team Trinity. The team battle over, only individuals now. But still nice to
Yes.
see the flag, the team logo, as we open up the initial hands.
Yeah, I mean, even though it's the individual positioning, basically every single player has has thanked their team, has made reference to their team for their good placement as they play, because the games were played, like the scores that determine the standings were the same games as the team games, and so all the players, of course, are thankful for their teams and their teammates that helped them get here.
Absolutely. Not only the strategic aspect of allowing players to play enough games to even qualify for the individuals, but also there's the support that your teammates can give you can really make a big mental difference in the games. And so as we get underway here, taking a look at Tomi's hand, door 2 to start out, Hatsu pair, and a
That's
Riichi.
Tempai. There is a lone Hatsu in Sugawara's hand, so we had some casters predicting that her hot streak would continue here. Oh, sorry, not Sugawara. Uotani has the lone Dora here.
It feels
There
like
she is.
that's not the hand to fight with. Maybe if she was
Right.
Ishan with some sort of ridiculous, Tanya Alpine Husanshoku, you could consider jamming the door against a dealer Riichi, but maybe not here.
Yeah, this is an enormous dealer Riichi, and of course nobody knows exactly how many points it's worth, except for the people who can see the Uradora already. But that's the scary part. You always have to be aware, especially when you don't see any Dora, that the dealer could have a Mangan, especially after reaching, and then it could even be worse than that. So you
That's
see
right.
basically all of our players folding here.
Yeah, Kitahara drew into Ishanten immediately after the Riichi and said, you know what? I just can't challenge here, and folded away.
Yep.
get to see the early dealer reach. If it pans out in Sumo, we noted 1 green dragon left in the wall. I haven't been counting the 3 mon. See 1 here in Sugawara's hand. She is
Right.
Ishan them.
Doesn't look like she's going to discard the 3 mon though, so that one is probably locked away.
As time passes, well, 2 things happen. Players like Sugawara could be close to Tempai, have time to build a value worth fighting for, and also you begin to question more and more where the door, because I haven't drawn any, and obviously we're not going to see them come out from other players, other than perhaps the Riichi player, because more and more likely that they're being held, and again, perhaps by the Riichi player.
In this case, that is the true assumption.
2 tiles live in the wall 4. Told me we've hit near the end of row 2. Sugawara has widened her Ishan 10. Has the Monzu. Which one? 7 mon is Tempai. If she wants to take it, she can cut 2 or 5 mon, or even 8 mon, but for value, you'd think the lower Monzu. For a Shabo weight, that's really awkward.
Yeah. Gonna go for it though. And the counter reach.
This paid out for her in the last game. We'll see if she can win again. 2 mon passes.
Yes, just as it did before. There is still a Dora left. This is nerve-wracking already right off the bat.
Dealer
4-pin,
reach.
5-pin, not the greatest weight. Although to be fair, the dealer's weight is not. There aren't that many tiles left for her either. For Tomi in the dealer slot.
Yeah, maybe you just
So this
say,
is tough.
you had a early dealer Riichi, but you didn't have time to build a good weight. So my weight, even though it's not that strong, it might not be that much worse than yours. But there it is,
Dora. That's
Sumo.
2 extra Han. One for getting the green dragon and another one for the Dora. So
That's a
starting out strong.
18,000. What an incredible start! You couldn't have asked for anything better for Tomi. Plus the Riichi stick as well, and an early dominating position.
These big finals. One name, one insane score right now.
What a hand. And she gets to keep the dealership and expand on it. Eudora 8-pin. Okay, this time not starting with a pair. But pair of Chun instead. Can't go fast. No completed shapes, but several blocks for Kitahara. Sugawara. Relatively nice shapes as well. 1 completed block. And multiple pairs for Uotani.
Oh, some pairs for Tomi as well. And for Kitahara, this might be a pairs round.
I'm sensing a pattern.
Maybe not for Sugawara, though. That is another completed triplet for her.
Yeah, I wonder how strategically you have to change your plan with such a big win in East 1, because there's still the entire rest of the game to go. All the players still have 2 dealerships. It's just East 1.
It looked like pairs at the beginning, but right now only Uotani seems to be continuing with the pairs. Oh, maybe Tomi. Tomi looks like she's gonna end up with
You said that
mix.
just to encourage more pairs to come into hands, didn't you?
The hands keep bouncing around, and that's the difficult part with playing 7 pairs, is that half of your 7 pairs hands will have the option to play regular shapes. Like this one is like right in between, but it is Tempai for 7 pairs. No red 5s, so cutting the 3. I wonder if that is she's gonna do it anyway.
Oh, wow.
To wait for the 5. I was saying I wonder if that's like an instinct from playing with red 5s a lot. To pair weight on the red 5, but no, maybe she just likes the weight better.
Yeah, it seems to be, I would guess, strategical rather than instinct. Okay, immediate chase Uotani, the same hand, but with 2 Dora.
Yeah, 7 pairs versus 7 pairs.
Notably, the 2 So has come out, so 5 So half Suji. It's also Naka Suji to Uotani. Yeah. So maybe the 5 So could see the light of day.
Another pair for Sugawara, but I think it's too late for her hand here against 2 Riichis already. Then again, what is safe? Just cuts a straight 4 So out of the middle against 2 Riichis. And when you don't have much choice, might as well play something that advances your hand.
The commentators were saying he thought Sugawara was warmed up. Whoa, 5-so. Uotani can't use it. And what a read by Kitahara. Ura 2. I see a 6-so.
Oh. Yes, that's a big Ura flip. You know, on those 7 pairs hands, it's actually more likely than usual to find Uradora.
At
Because
least
your pairs have holes in them. Oftentimes. Sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
In those hands that I mentioned where your hand is halfway between a regular or sequence hand and 7 pairs, oftentimes you have consecutive pairs, which reduce your chance of getting the Uradora indicator. Because if you have 5, 6, 7, well, if you're looking for an Uradora on 7, you're using a couple 6s. If you're looking for it on the 6s, you're using some of the 5s. But with a lot of 7 pairs hands, you can have the pairs just about anywhere. And so there's holes in between for the Uradora indicator to show up.
that's a big win for Kitahara, matching the pace of Tomi a little bit. At least she makes up for the points she had to pay out of Tsumo.
Right. She is ahead of her starting score here. And Sugawara has a triplet of East, which is going to be somewhat useful here, but the value not quite there yet.
Might not be fast enough. Kitahara already Ishanten for Riichi Pinfu.
Yeah, we'll see how willing she is to hold on to the Dora, or whether she cuts it for speed.
I suspect she's going to hold on to it all the way up until the Riichi, because if she can pair that up and cut the North Wind instead, that will be a big value boost.
It's just a matter of how many there are left. We can see that. I believe Tomi has one already.
Yeah, some other decision points are going to be when other players start to discard central tiles. Like we see a 2-pin, 4-pin. Well, that's Kitahara's own, but when other players start to make cuts like those, she might think a little bit more about defense. Okay, playing efficiently here now.
Yes, maximum efficiency. Is realizing that Dora is pretty difficult to use.
Yeah, I don't mind though holding on to the door even there. But as the dealer, certainly there's a lot of incentive to play with maximum efficiency.
Yeah, Tomi takes the other route and keeps the Dora for longer, reducing her efficiency, not taking the extra weight, and just discarding it right back.
Tomi in a spot where her shapes aren't quite so nice.
Pair number 5. Kitahara is really thinking about it. Not too hard though. Doesn't keep the extra pair.
That's an argument to cutting the 6-pin, so that you don't have to think about Chito.
Okay, Tomi does finally decide to cut the Dora for higher efficiency. Didn't like the extra 3-so, but she likes the extra 7-so in case she gets a 6-so here.
Uotani with a really nice Ishanten.
Oh, if only she had the 3. Oh, that's good enough though. No Riichi. So no Ron, no Yaku, other than potential Sumo.
So out of here, thinking about Chanta perhaps. Oh wow, 9-pin, 9-pin again after that early 9-pin cut.
Tough one.
Uotani really wants the Tanya though, and there is a switch now for defense.
It almost looked like she was going to Riichi, but not Tenpai.
Has that really nice looking towel flip into discard, and there's finally the Tenpai 3-sided. We'll see the Riichi now.
Yeah, the perfect one. No Dora, but a lot of chance for an explosive Riichi. 3-sided weight, so Ippatsu is always a possibility. Sumo is, of course, there.
Still, you should a bit wider for Kitahara. For Uotani, there's a bit of sadness as you are just short of the Sanshoku 456, but
Yeah, the 456.
you can't say no to this 3-sided Riichi Tanya Pinfu.
Yes. Oh, even with the slight slowdown from Kitahara, she makes Tenpai here as well. And she's willing to go for it. So an interesting battle here. Oh, that almost dealt in, but Sugawara now able to find the tile that prevents her from dealing in. Waiting only for the 3-so, but it is still the 3-so.
Tomi on defensive duty now. Uotani on 258, so Sugawara 3-so. Kitahara 1 mon, 4 mon, north.
Yeah, Sugawara's hand is worth so much here with the closed Chanta. You were mentioning the Chanta, it's worth extra when it's closed.
2-so.
But it's not worth anything if it deals in, unfortunately, for Sugawara. 2-so instead of 3-so. And that gives Uotani her 3-sided weight. Collects here, putting her into 3rd place, just above Sugawara. But
Really?
both of those players, I'm sure, are going to be fighting for a lot more than just 3rd by the end of this game.
Yeah, it's interesting. So far this game, we've seen Sugawara take every single challenge as if playing the game that she just did. 1 Hanchan wildcard match. Even with 2 games here in this final, it's still really important to set yourself up well, and you can only set yourself up well by winning hands.
Yeah, 1st place is worth so much here. So it's good to see some refreshing play here.
South Dora here in
South,
East 3, Sugawara in the dealer seat. Lots of pairs again. I suspect it's not going to finish as a 7 pairs hand.
Right. I wonder if Uotani would be willing to open here. It doesn't feel like it's enough value in Uotani's current position, but see how good her hand gets. Okay, with a 7-8-9, there's not really much room for opening.
1-2-3 symmetrical chance for Tomi. Diamond improvement now for Kitahara. Dora cut.
Early Dora. Even throughout the season, during the regular play, notice that Sugawara was one of the players more willing to cut Dora early, and Tomi follows suit here.
Yeah, that early Dora cut always alerts attention. Uotani improves the weight, though, from the 6 mon Kanchan to a Diamond. Now will slam the Riichi.
Yeah, despite cutting the Dora early for efficiency, still not the fastest hand on the table. Kitahara 1 away now. She's going to keep going.
Playing maximal efficiency here, 4-pin.
Yeah, Sugawara getting closer and closer as well. So Kitahara and Sugawara both playing for that 1st place, not folding to this reach, at least not yet.
Tomi out. One of the few players at this table that can afford currently to be a little bit defensive.
Yeah, from her ivory tower in 1st place. Oh, Sugawara doesn't find Tempai, but she finds a better weight. That's enough to lure her into dealing here.
1 Ura.
And Uotani finds 1 Ura, that's right.
2,600. That will shift things over to her own dealership.
Yeah, small loss, but a big round. Because it was Sugawara's dealer turn.
Uotani now, big chance. One more in the South round, of course.
Right.
But first dealer opportunity here.
18,200.
These tempi have come very quickly in this game so far.
Yes, I mean, when we see so many players both pushing, and we've seen a lot of players willing to sacrifice Dora for efficiency, so it does look like a lot of our players' philosophies here are tending towards the fast hands and a little bit less defense because of the 1st place mindset. So the fact that holding on to 2nd, 3rd, or 4th is nowhere near as good as getting the bonus 20 from the ante, the Oka of 1st place.
Fairly standard hand here for Uotani. Just playing efficient cuts. Tomi had considerations of a Chitoi, but now he's drawn Anko of 8 pins, so probably will just play pretty efficiently. And
Yeah, I could also see Tomi start calling pom 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 to make a toy all triplets.
Sugawara here with a Monzu flush, perhaps. I say perhaps, it's very likely. It really
Yeah,
cuts it
maybe even
indicating.
a full flush, considering the honors aren't quite there yet for her hand.
There is a Dora West, though, that
That's true. And
will stick
okay,
around.
two green. Most likely going to be a half flush then in this case.
very interested in Tomi's hand. Lots of pairs now. Chitoi Ishantam, but could get even bigger.
Oh, there's a Manzu tile. Pretty nice. Discarded it so fast. I wonder if she had even seen what color, like the number. Oh, no call on the green. Just lets it through. Going for big points here.
The Green Dragon half flush is 3,900. If she waits on the door, it's 8,000. But maybe she has thoughts of perhaps Chitoi as well.
Yes, that is an option. The closed 7 pairs with the half flush, Menhon Chitoi, as it's called.
There, you already get the Mongon, and Sumo can even give you Hanuman. Ura can give you Baimon. Big value possibilities with a closed half flush, combined with 7 pairs. Kitahara is confirming relatively standard shapes here. Tomi holding all these honor tiles, imagining, oh my goodness, Suanko Ishantan. So very curious to see if she'll pull him for Toy Toy.
Yeah, I mean, she's not the player who needs the points, so I feel like taking the Toy, the all triplets, is good enough.
Yeah, of course, 8-so came out.
Right.
There's no call at that point.
There is a second game to play, of course, so having a Yakuman, another 30,000 points, 32,000 to be exact, would put her in a much better, much safer situation for the final game.
No hesitation on the door cut from Tomi, and Kitahara immediately follows.
And not even looking for better efficiency with the 4, so just keeping the safe tile for later.
So a very easy cut. She just needs Manzu, and now Uotani. Still Ishantam. One away from Tempai.
Yeah, but extra Manzu in the hand. Unless she plays 7 pairs, 7 pairs would allow her to use every single Manzu.
Yeah, for that reason you might see
maybe
7.
Hanyo?
Okay,
No, she's going to go maximum aggression here.
Suanko Tempai, what?
No reach! If 3-so comes out, if Kitahara tries to fold to the half flush, the Manzu half flush, maybe 3-so comes out.
It's 1-mon 3-so. Kitahara's already discarded a 1-mon and a 3-so, so the last 1-mon is here. There are no weights live in the wall, but as you said, the one chance for Tomi to win here is Kitahara dancing around the flush and cutting the 3-so.
Right. So far, no need yet. Oh, interesting call from Uotani. We do still have about 15 tiles left, so she's going to have to wait a while to get to that draw. Yeah, Tempai had draw, but she's going to start.
Question for Kitahara is that 4-mon in hand, will she be able to use it? And if not, what is she going to cut? Might have to discard something. 9-mon.
Yeah, still discarding into the flush. Not shying away from it. Dora finally comes out. Still no Tempai for Sugawara, though.
And with that call, again, it'll be important to see if Kitahara can cut this 7-mon. That would give Tempai.
Yeah, there's an off chance that the 1-mon comes out from Sugawara as well, depending on what kind of Tempai she gets.
That's a good point as well. If she gets the 2-mon Pom, then you're absolutely right.
Even occasionally, if she makes the green dragon pawn.
Ooh, like this?
So there's so many options. 2, 6, 8, 1, but she picks
Wow.
one that doesn't deal in.
Picks the correct option.
Woo. That's
And now,
right.
with the overflow, Uotani has to pass a Mon tile to stay Tempai.
Yeah. This is pretty tough. She's just gonna do the same 8-mon again. Gets through. Doesn't deal in even after the 9-mon pawn.
The players all see the Yakuba and say, "Oh, I understand."
Wow.
It is not. Tomi is not satisfied with her lead. She wants to win it all.
That was a near miss in a lot of different hands.
A sigh of relief from Sugawara, certainly, to have cut the 2-mon there. She had the choice. She could have dealt in.
Yeah. It wouldn't have been Yakuman, of course, but still. 3 Anko. San Anko, Toy Toy, all triplets. That's a mangan you don't want to have to deal into.
It's also quite notable that Sugawara had called a chi.
Yes.
And drew a triplet of green dragons, so that's 8 fu. If she'd cut the 1-mon, she would have guaranteed a 40 fu hand.
That's true.
But by cutting the 2-mon, she only gets 40 fu if she tsumos 7-mon. And so she actually took the potential at less value in order to play the safer 2. So a greedy player that figured the 1-mon's just as safe as the 2-mon would have dealt into pretty monster hand, a surprise Mongon at least.
Right. And it's interesting that Sugawara passed the green dragon earlier in the hand, remember?
Yes.
Perhaps that would have been enough speed for her to win that hand, had she called it off the bat.
I think Sugawara is probably happier to win 1,000 points and get another hand than win 39 and pass the dealership.
And move the dealer.
I'm not 100% sure.
Yep.
I mean, a big part of that is just what happens in this hand. If Uotani gets a big dealer Mongon or something, then definitely there will be some bit of regret.
Yeah, she's looking at a half flush herself, but this time in Sozu in the bamboos. A lot of honor pairs in our players' hands as well, though.
Oh, but that
of course, Uotani's not worth anything.
That feels the non-so shape.
Yeah, this is not Tempai yet.
Ishantam.
But she's going to keep it, I think. It's just too good to ignore. Completed 5, 6, 7 shape.
Yeah, it could
The
still
half
be.
flush might be gone.
Riichi Ipeko, something like that with good weight.
Yes. Oh.
Riichi Pinhu Ipeko.
Still not quite there, is it?
Yeah, we need to cut a pair or play for Chitoi.
Yes.
Or you could, in theory, 5, 6. Oh, she will.
Oh, yeah, because 7 pairs, as you mentioned, Chitoitsu. You can do 7 pairs.
The value flex, but we're going to see a Riichi from Tomi on the 4-pin, 7-pin. Riichi only. Riichi Dora 1.
Yeah, that's the perfect time to fit the Riichi in. Right after Uotani's played the slightly slower play. Not sure if she noticed that. That would be some sort of sixth sense, but now Uotani's in a really perilous predicament. That's the best way I could put it. Yes, a perilous pickle predicament. Both the 5-mon and the 7-mon are not going to be easy discards against that Riichi.
She'll continue.
She's going to go right for it. Is the 5-mon actually there? No, I think she just went aggressively at the Riichi.
That's it. Well, we're going to see the Tsumo anyway, and an Ura as well. Riichi, Tsumo, Dora, Ura, Mangan. And Uotani will pay the brunt of that.
Yeah, Tomi's out and away our leader in South 1 here.
So I feel like Sugawara can be pretty happy about that outcome. If she had won the 3,900 and it went around to Tomi's dealership, then that would have been 12,000 points, not 8,000. So it would have made things even harder in the second game. Silver linings.
So Tomi now more than double the points of any other player on the table. Oftentimes that doubling mark gets you a lot of safety. And we already saw Tomi after her dealer Haneman in East 1 play safer than all the other players. The other players have all been playing extremely aggressively, willing to deal in to get their shot at first place. Now we see Tomi actually playing for the big hand here.
Yeah, it's almost like a safety play because playing for this hand allows you to hold a lot of honor tiles, which should be safer
Right.
later. But at the same time,
That's
if she
fair.
wins the monster, then she might be untouchable in the final game.
Yeah, even with the second game, but everyone here has a solid hand, not just Tomi.
Absolutely. Look at this from Kitahara. Also playing for the flush.
Kitahara is playing aggressively as well.
Sugawara with Chanta hedges, outside hand hedge. Common ends, as they say. Oh, wow.
Another 6. That does not work for the Chanta, the outside hand.
It is a little bit wider, and it allows us to accept a second Dora, so we will consider that a positive draw for Sugawara. Tomi now dropping the Dora as she finds Ishanten for Honitsu Dianpeiko or Chitoe.
Yep, it's actually interesting to notice the overlay has not caught the Dora quite yet.
A 7-mon Dora.
Right.
North
Ooh,
versus...
not exactly what Tomi's looking for.
Will be an interesting decision if she draws 7-pin or 2-pin. I feel like a lot of times you aim for Dianpeiko for the value, but with this lead, Tomi
Right.
might prefer the Northwind wait.
Right. Sugawara not using 5-so. But Kitahara will. Quick pwn. That is the last 5-so. She has the other 2 in hand. Still nothing for Sugawara, even with the extra draw there. Oh, but there is something for Uotani.
3 pair plus 1 shapes will end up cutting 9-mon, perhaps even the entire 9-mon, 8-mon block.
Right.
Flips down from 3 pairs to just 2.
Is that? No, not quite. I thought it was 6-pin. It's another pair.
It's an awkward draw
Maybe a chance
because
for-
if you imagine using 7-pin pair and 8-pin pair as 2 sequences, you also have the 4-5. So that means you really need the 6-pin a lot. And with another player
Right.
going for a Pinzu flush, you might not think that that's all that likely.
Yeah, in fact, extra 7-pin might end up dealing in. It might not just be a half flush. It might be the twin double sequences. The double twin sequence. The Rianpeiko.
Oh, such a shame for Tomi. She's discarded 2 pairs of wins just back to back to back.
There's 5-6. Quick Riichi. Chance for more Dora if another 7-mon comes out, but difficult wait to finish considering he's waiting for Dora. Now Uotani waiting for 7-pin and 8-pin, so that should keep her from dealing into Tomi. However, if she has to dodge Sugawara's reach, maybe 7-pin comes out.
That chi from Uotani preventing... Oh,
Is that Dora? Or was it the other side?
Oh,
Is that
Dora?
Aura? 7?
it is a Dora! And 2!
Oh my goodness!
Riichi Tsumo, Dora, Dora, Ura, Ura!
The miracle flip for Sugawara, and she is perhaps not quite striking at first place yet, but easily up to second.
And even though there's a huge gap, Tomi takes the Oyakabuni, so 6,000 point payment rather than 3,000 points.
Yeah, and no more dealer turn.
No more dealer turns. Sugawara now into second, and she has a chance at dealer. That will come after Kitahara, though, who has
That's right.
temporarily dropped to third.
Each of our 3 trailing players is going to get their one chance. The leading player has lost their final dealer, and so now they just have to play solid defense and hope none of our trailing players catch them.
Everyone has shown that they are willing to challenge, so
Yeah.
it's not such an easy feat. Even if you play perfect defense, Sugawara showing there, she can find a Hanuman out of very little value in the hand.
Oh man, draws the Dora, turns out to also be the Uradora, and it's a duplicate as well. That's a second copy in her hand.
More
Huge points.
pairs.
This is 5 pairs already.
That's a perfect defensive / offensive hand, Tomi.
Yeah, sometimes even when you're winning, you have to win more hands. If you win a hand, nobody else wins the hand.
The perfect defense is to just win more hands.
Right. 5, 6, 7. Going to use it. Kitahara looking for more value, maybe getting the inside hand, the all simples, Tanyao.
South triplet we saw in Sugawara's hand, and I should note that she is the South player, so that is double Yakuhai. We'll get another look at her hand right now. It is 2 away from Tenpai, but relatively efficient shape. She just needs 2-5 and 5-8 mon, and then some connections in the Sozu.
Yeah, Tomi completely gave up on a regular hand, just destroyed the 1, 2, 3 mon in order to go for 7 pairs. 2 triplets for Sugawara, though. 2 sets of 3, complete.
That could give us some really interesting draws, like a pair up of the Monzus. Speaking
2 triplets for
of,
Kitahara as well.
that one not so helpful. But say you paired up 3 mon, 4 mon, 6 mon, 7 mon. There's dreams of Salanko or even more.
Exactly. Here's a pair for Uotani, but she already has a 1, 2, 3 shape completed, and not quite as many pairs as our other players, so she's not going to destroy her 1, 2, 3. Triplet for Tomi.
That also is Chitoi Shantan.
Turning into one of those Toitsuba, the triplet and pair rounds.
Uotani will hope that means that she draws more Adora 8mon. Salanko Ishantan for Kitahara. And there's that mon pair I was talking about. So you go 7 mon, 4 mon maybe because of the overlap. 7 so.
7 so seems pretty reasonable here. Maximum efficiency. Just take whatever you can get.
Maybe not maximal, but certainly very pretty. I guess it's got the 2 mon, yeah.
Oh, so gets rid of that pair. Maybe because it's in the Dora indicator. Doesn't like the 7 mon.
Call here.
Tenpai.
So declined what would have been Toy Toy Tenpai. What could have been, I should say.
Yeah, 7 mon just too difficult of a weight for her to go for.
This also allows her to use the Dora should she draw it. Tenpai for Uotani must be a slam.
Fighting, not the greatest weight, but it has 2 Dora. Tomi holding 2 of those winning tiles, those 3-pin. Kitahara holding 1 of them. Oh,
Dama?
and there it goes. That's Ippatsu.
Ooh. Ippatsu, Dora, Ura.
Yes, Ippatsu with the Uradora. Sounding like Mangan here.
And of course, Kitahara had to play that 3-pin. The only question was to Riichi with Riichi's son Anko, Tanyo, I believe, or to play for the Suanko. And not a surprise, he took the Dama there and went for the Suanko value.
Yep, you can't really argue with Kitahara there, but play just not working out for her.
Yeah, both decisions end up with the same outcome, unfortunately.
Right. Sugawara, she had her big break with the 2 Uradora. Now she is looking for a big break on her dealer turn. Second place is definitely usable going into the last game if you get a second place here. But first place would be much better.
Even if she just gets 1 medium-sized sumo and then the game peters out, I think she'll have done enough to make things really interesting. Because if she gets the first place at mid-40,000s, she might be able to overtake Tomi. And also, position will matter in that second game as well, so could see some targeted play on top of things.
See some pasterones or something.
Exactly. So Dora.
1357. Kitahara does not keep the whole thing.
Advancement now. Decide between playing 6 blocks with, let's say, 6 mon cut, or just trimming down to 5 good blocks. Stronger blocks.
Right. I assume Tomi would call here, but remains to be seen. She has not received any red dragons yet. Kitahara going to play the slightly slower route, but with better weights to Tenpai.
That's a door
connects with
connector.
the so
It just
yes.
commits to it.
There it is, and it does not get called. Tomi's gonna let it go for safety.
Yeah, we've
Keep the
seen
red
this
dragon safety later.
pretty consistently, I think, from players in the lead. Tomi also earlier had chance to call for Toy Toy and did not. Ended up with Suanko Tenpai, so.
That's true. That's Dora. She was almost about to discard it for her Tanya hand, but she's taking a second look because it's Dora. Might still come out though. Sugawara has definitely been the most willing. No. Decides against it this time.
Yeah, here with a 2-3 pin in hand. If it was a 3-4 pin, the difference between Dora and Tanya is not really that meaningful. But with a 2-3, if she does win on the 1 pin, then she'd rather have a door in hand than the Tanya potential.
It does mean she probably can't call tiles anymore, though. I think that's one of the big decisions she was making.
Right. If the 4 pin were to have come out, maybe she would have called that for just a Tanya Tenpai to advance forward, especially late in the round. But in this case, won't be able to make that same decision.
Yeah. There's interesting arguments.
Oh, no Sancho pitch.
Right. There's both the argument where you want to keep your dealer turn by any means necessary, but there's also the argument where on your turn, since your dealer turn is worth more points, you want to go for bigger value because it's 1.5 times that bigger value since your dealer turn is worth more points. It's not always the smartest idea to just go for quick cheap hands on your dealer turn because then you're reducing your chance of actually scoring those monster dealer mangans and hanemans. And the chance comes back again. It is later in the round now, but she makes the same decision.
Yeah, I think a lot of that decision comes down to the quality of your hand, and Sugawara has really excellent shapes, so might be feeling pretty optimistic about the chance to slam Riichi for bigger value.
Right. Oh, and there's the one, as you called out. The Dora is going to help her out here. Looking at 12,000, maybe even 18,000. 18,000 could be a direct overtake on a direct hit.
It's back.
It goes back one more time.
Uotani has her blocks, Yaman Ishanten, but has been stuck waiting for so long for an improvement.
And Tomi holding on to the south. Is it rather a safe tile, or is she afraid of it dealing? No, there's a lot of souths on the board. Must be a safe tile.
1 tile of progress.
Uotani, yes.
These poor 5 pins, these poor 6, so nobody wants them.
2, 3, 4, 5. Nope.
Second door for Tomi. Now, Red Dragon Call will be Tenpai.
Right.
Speaking of Tenpai, Sugawara slam Ichi Pinfu Dora.
Dealer. Is it? Is it? It's not. Not for Uotani. Tomi uses the safe tile she's been holding on to.
2 pin not really safe against Sugawara here. Another
The
6-0.
fourth copy, every copy of the 6 though. At least they haven't dealt in. Those are some tough draws for Sugawara.
1-mon, 4-mon, not really that clear. 7-pin is relatively safe with all those 5-pin that have come out so far. I believe 3 copies.
Yeah, the one chance gets less and less safe near the end of the wall, though. If you don't have to do it. Uotani's hand has been picked apart a little too much, I think, for her to go Tenpai.
Tenpai for Tomi,
On the
but
other hand,
I just can't see her
Tomi's
dropping the
here.
2-pin.
Yeah, she's really thinking about it.
It's so tempting because you have 2 of the Dora.
And she can possibly win. I don't even think there's enough tiles to Riichi left, though, right? Oh, I mean, I think it's illegal in Mondo TV Pro rules to Riichi without enough tiles, but I'm not 100%.
There's the tune. That would have been the winner, of course. Kitahara certainly would have had other safe tiles to discard.
Yeah, maybe a Dama 10, you catch the tune there
It's
and
possible.
win if you go for it.
I suspect it would have been too
Yeah.
tough to drop only a once-cut tune, though. So, Yukiko and skipped cleanly over the table maintenance. Sugawara will collect the 3,000 points and maintain her dealership. 1 home ball, 1 Riichi stick.
So now Sugawara, only player in the 20,000s. Uotani over 4,000 points behind her now. That's can't make it up with anything small. Has to be at least a reasonable hand, which is a little harder without red 5s. So Uotani does have a dealer turn after this, though.
Ready to make it an Itsu for Uotani there. Tomi,
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
no strong shapes. Also a bit better for Kitahara, but still relatively weak. Dora and South Pair for Sugawara, as well as complete shape in the Monzu. And as dealer with slightly weaker shapes, I wonder if this is a spot where Sugawara will call the first South.
I feel like she should, but it's very hard to know. She's definitely passed some tiles I thought she would call. Uotani giving up on that straight for fastest hand.
That's a great draw. Uotani with the chance at Riichi Pinfu. Oh, there is an Ishanten as well for Sugawara. 1 away.
Yeah, now being this close, we might see the South get passed.
Still, the weight is just a content. Oh, hello. 5, 6, 7 Sanchoku potential.
Yes. Going to use it. Uotani keeps it around. Pair of 3 so for Kitahara.
Wow.
Oh,
Just
right
draw it
in.
yourself. And despite the
goes right in.
Yeah, despite the quality of the weight not being that strong, waiting on the door itself.
I think we might see Uotani fight if she gets to Tenpai, though.
Right, you're not really expecting to see someone drop it, and it...
Oh, that's not Tenpai. It's strange. A strange draw here. I don't see Dora coming out, but the 1, 2, 3 is kept for maximum efficiency. Hard to do Sanchoku, hard to do mixed triples with that.
Right. But it's a spot where Uotani really wants to take this fight, so... the painful draw and a bit of acknowledgement. Now what to do?
Only she had kept the pair, right?
Do you just go back to headless with 1-mon and hope to pair up 2-mon, 3-mon?
Yeah,
Do you take a headless cutting a pin tile, perhaps? Maybe a safe 2-pin or 7-pin and try to draw a pair in the pinzu?
You know, that's also reasonable. 2, 3, 4 pin.
Perhaps like 2-pin, and that way we can still hedge the Sanchoku. if we draw a 3-pin or
Right.
4-pin pair.
Exactly.
I think the more I think about it, I'm a fan of that. But just taking the immediate chase, perhaps on Dora Tonki. 2-pin. Maybe?
Yes, it is a safe tile against the Riichi, so that's one big advantage of 2-pin discard.
I really like these types of plays where you break out of Tempai and have a huge amount of tiles to Tempai. We'll see if Uotani gets rewarded. So,
One, so no dice. No dice on that one. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but I don't see Tomi going in here. Yep, Tomi, despite how good that draw was, is folding.
so really this is on Sugawara to draw the Dora, or
What's that? An extra 5. Ooh. It's slightly. That's right in the middle zone.
yeah,
It's not completely dangerous, but it's nowhere near safe.
I can't actually tell if that early Mon tile is an 8 Mon.
It looks
Uotani,
like
if it's
it.
3d10, I would just cut it back.
Yeah, just throws it back.
It's
But it
tough because
passes.
Uotani's in 3rd place, but very close to 2nd. If she deals into dealer, she could be fighting for 4th or like to get out of 4th and just escape with a 3rd,
Yes.
and that's not a comfortable spot. So, although she really, really, really wants to take this challenge here, question of how strong of a play that actually is quite difficult to resolve.
Yeah, and Sugawara still has not drawn that Dora that she needs.
Another 4-pin.
Not quite.
Uotani's like, I could want to draw those.
Whoa,
That's
was
the
that?
Dora.
Okay.
Surely we
At
slam.
least, at least it wasn't the 7, so if that was the 7, so it would have been just the worst tile for Uotani to draw.
PD10, 2, 5, 8-pin, 2-pin, all dead, all discarded. Kitahara holding so many of the weights.
Right. This is going to be very hard for both players to win.
All the 8-pin are gone.
Hmm.
Oh, another Dora!
No!
The worst draw! And
The last copy.
oh my goodness, a tragedy.
And that is a big dealer win for Sugawara. So,
Chiyako High
Was it-
Dora. I didn't even see the UDA indicators, but it looks like
7,700 plus 1 Honba. 8,000. And then 3 Riichi sticks. Sugawara definitely 1 Mangan away. Well, on a sumo, it's definitely there. To
will
first place.
the dealership continue? Repairs once again.
Oh, Tomi might have something to stop it. 5 pairs on the very first draw.
Just a couple
Also
more
the
pairs.
chance to call. Yeah, also the chance to call, but Tomi hasn't really gone for those kind of calls, so I don't expect her to call this green dragon here. Yeah, Sugawara doesn't discard it yet anyway.
This is definitely
Goes
going to
the
be a
white
little bit
dragon
slower.
instead. Unless Tomi gets Tempai. I wonder if she would reach. Doesn't seem super necessary, but
Yeah, at this
doesn't seem
point,
like the worst option if it's very early.
Sugawara's kind of catching up. Maybe you want to increase that gap.
Yeah, there's the green no call. Guess figures these other pairs are a little too hard to pwn.
Yeah, I
So
certainly
would
would agree
rather
with the
play
pass.
for 7 pairs.
It's interesting, when I watch other people play, I'm more inclined to pass and play for Chitoi. And when I play myself, I'm more inclined to call.
Right. Especially when you play in person, there's nowhere near as much room as on online clients to call tiles.
Yeah, that's why
You
you kind
really
of
have to know when you're going to call something.
exactly spend the time on your own turn thinking about if you're going to call or not, and then discard. Commitment.
Ooh. Yes, all pairs, full pair movement.
there was a chance if she drew, say, Tumon, maybe you could work towards Ipeiko Pinfu, something along those lines. Maybe not Pinfu with the Hatsu pair, but
Right.
Ipeiko standard hand, Ipeiko Hatsu, something along those lines. But no, just committing to the pairs.
Okay, so Kitahara's hand is getting there. The shapes are not good, but it is very close to Tenpai. Same with Uotani here. Her shape's not great, but she has one Dora.
Yeah, she'll need more draws like that 4-pin Kanchan fill, especially near the Dora shape.
Yeah, and Sugawara has been very close to Tenpai. She also doesn't have the greatest shapes,
Pairs?
but
Nishantam?
she's getting there. Yeah, 7 pair is also another option now for her.
Well, Uotani has a plan now. We'll get to see when we wrap back around to her dealer, rather to her hand, that the ideal position is Itsu Dora 2, but this is Tenpai.
Is she gonna go for the Ryampeko, the twice pure double sequence, or just take the fast reach?
Waiting on Dora
she takes
again.
the strange Dora only. She's going for big points here.
Might
I'm
as
not
well.
convinced she actually needed that many points. But maybe she doesn't like the other weight anyway.
Yeah, to go for Ryampeko would involve some maneuvering. You have to cut a pair, so I
Yeah,
don't
I
like
mean,
giving up Tenpai.
Even just taking the fast Tenpai, waiting on, North and Eitso, the Shampon, the triplet weight. With the Ipeiko in hand. The pure double sequence.
Unconfirmed. We
Another
will see chase with
reach.
Kitahara.
Kitahara's shapes turned out to look a lot better than originally thought. She drew all the right tiles. Tomi playing defense, but it's hard to play perfect defense against 2 Riichis.
Uotani not really defending at all, just trying to win her own hand.
Uotani's still not there yet, though. Tough draws. Very dangerous tile into 2 Riichis. Whew.
I'm pretty sure
She
that
does have a dealer turn still. Yeah, so she can afford a slight bit of patience.
she clears. I'm pretty sure the Shabo North 8 so weight would have just been on the north, which is once cut. So like a single tile weight.
So the 8-so is already gone. Yes, I can see 2 in the discards near the beginning of the second row.
That's why this Doritanki weight was chosen. But if she wins the Doritanki, if she sumos, that's going to be a monster. 18,000 minimum. Remember, that's how Tomi started this game.
That's true. Is that Tenpai?
It is.
It is.
Is there a safe
Tomi
entry?
definitely the least reason to push here, but can you really defend against these Riichis with your hand?
Almost.
She's going to keep trying.
It almost felt like she was trying to convince herself that the Suji 3-pin would clear. It would, but it's a risk.
Definitely.
Uotani gave it a try, but she couldn't jam the 7-pin, and now it's just out.
The weights of our Riichi players so close
she finds
to
it!
dealing in. Ooh!
There were 2 in the wall, and she finds one of them. No Uda, but that doesn't matter. Riichi, Tsumo, Chitoi, Dora 2, as dealer, 18,000 points. We have a new leader.
This hot streak continues from game 1. The wild cards setting it on fire. Coming into game 2, didn't start out in the lead this time. In fact, it was pretty dicey for her coming into the South round. She was in last place. Makes it happen on her dealer turn, all the way from last to... Well, she wasn't in last on her dealer turn, but through the South round, she made it from last to first place.
Hanuman Sumo followed by dealer Hanuman Sumo, and all of a sudden back up to 53,000. This is about where she ended last game, so maybe she'll go even further. still holds the dealership. 8 so is the Dora.
But she's also not the last dealer, so she's gonna have to watch out for Uotani, who's been cooking up a storm in that final seat. South seat right now. Originally the north seat at the beginning of the game.
Though it may seem difficult, Uotani and Kitahara have not been spectators in this game. They've been building tempis. They just haven't been winning as much as Sugawara and Tomi have.
Right. Uotani has a really nice hand here. We're looking at Sugawara now, but here comes Uotani's hand. Really nice outside hand, but we all know with the outside hands, sometimes there just aren't that many tiles for those difficult weights. You'll see just how fast it really advances. She's not finding any tiles yet. But gonna force it though. No more 6-pin.
Pie. 3-sided, hard not to jam. And of course, Tomi no longer in first place, so she wants these points.
Yeah, very fast. That's gonna make it hard for Uotani to catch her big win.
And suddenly Sugawara faced with a tough choice. With 2 door in hand, how do you play against this? You don't want to deal in, but there's nothing to go off of here.
Yeah, Sugawara is well out of position. It's about 3 away, I think this hand is from template. But as you mentioned, no safe tiles, not a 1. Do the closest thing she can. It's close to the Dora, but...
Wow. Says, I've got 2 Dora blockers. That's good enough.
Right. She has 2 of the Dora herself.
And it also gives her 2 tiles to pass, so...
Yes.
Immediately afterwards, the 6-0 comes out, and it's revealed to be Suju. 5-0 improves her hand.
Uotani finds one.
Okay.
It's not... She still wants the Chanta, though, so she's not going to reach it looks like.
Yeah, really needs that 1 mon for value.
It's going to be so hard to find it, though. This is a tough spot for Uotani. Yeah. And she can't really call 1 mon either, because that kind of destroys your value anyway. I wonder if she'll take the win if she gets it, or if she takes the tile and tries to find a 1 mon. Yeah, there's the 3 mon, but
It's definitely tough because she still has another dealership. If she didn't, I think you might D10 Riichi if you draw your winner.
Right. Looking for that 1 mon. It's worth so much more, but it's so much harder to get. Finds a 1 so, not good enough.
Another 1 mon drawn by Kitahara.
Yeah, that's going to make it very tough for Uotani now.
A lot of calls.
And yeah, Sugawara is only 1 away now, so with those Dora, she could actually extend her lead.
Oh, but that calls Tomi into the drawing like once again.
The 1 mon!
That would have been Uotani drawing that tile.
Oh my goodness. Although the 4 mon would have dealt in. So I guess it is what it is. Tomi getting a few points back. Still needs a little more than a Mangan. Mangan Sumo would do it.
Certainly.
Because of the points that Sugawara would lose. But Mangan on the other players will need one of them to Riichi. To be fair, I feel like they will both be quite willing to Riichi. So maybe Tomi can count on a Mangan with someone else's Riichi stick.
Well, so far it's been Tomi and Sugawara with the big dealer Tsumos. We'll see if Uotani can do it here. First cut.
Yeah.
Door connector also has a 6 mon in hand, so door is still going to be accepted into hand. 8 mon. Door that's a little bit near the edge, so maybe a little trickier to use.
And this hand here not looking too great for Uotani. I wonder if she will be willing to call the Red Dragon to get another shot at dealer. Because it's hard for her to complete that hand without it.
So, from a strategic standpoint, Tomi is in an interesting position where she might not have the Mangan value, but if she has the chance to win, a few thousand points, will she take it? Or will she just go for the first place? I mean, there's so much bonus in getting first place with the Oka.
Yeah, and we can see Kitahara, knowing that first place is basically out of her reach, is trying to get third place here. Less than 1,000 points out. Any win for Kitahara will get her at least the extra Uma for third place instead of fourth.
Sugawara can press forward as well with an open hand in her position.
Yes. I don't think... So Uotani's pair is the red dragon now, so she might actually pass on a red dragon. We will see. Is this the time? No, still keeping the red dragon around. Sugawara.
I think if I'm Uotani, I still call, especially because other players have opened. I just want to match that speed.
Another red! Kitahara doesn't want to discard, too scared. Where's the red dragon? Nobody wants to deal it in.
This gives time for Uotani to get there closed.
Yeah, this actually makes it pretty iffy, I think, to call the red dragon, now that she has so many good shapes. But, of course, no Pinfu. There it goes. Whoosh, no call. Sugawara going to hold on to hers.
With bad shapes, I'm more inclined to call. With good shapes,
Yes.
I want to stay closed.
There's an off chance that Uotani gets a mixed triples, the Sanchoku. But not a very high chance right now.
It will take some shifting.
Yes. Yes. Unfortunately, already discarded the 3-so. Might still use 4-so though? Nope.
Kind of tricky to use it.
Yeah, maybe she was thinking if I have a pair of 4-so, then you can use 1-so for the 1-2-3 Sanchoku. But decides it's too slow for her. Too low chance.
Interesting now. The red dragon just came out a little while ago.
7-pin keeps being discarded.
There was a thought at building a flush, but that might not be fast enough. Although Sugawara really doesn't mind if Kitahara wins this hand, as long as it's relatively cheap.
Yes. Is that? It's a slight improvement, but it's not Tenpai.
Turn now. Uotani lets it go. It's going to be a Riichi.
She's basically right there on the cusp. She just needs that last tile. Tenpai.
Everyone Ishanten, basically.
Whoa!
That's an interesting draw.
Not it.
That gives her 2-3-4 Sanchoku instead of 1-2-3, so she no longer needs to hedge this 1-mon.
Yes. Mostly holding it for safety now. Tomi also able to call for Tenpai, but she's actually 2 away, so it's a little slower for her. Three-so not doing it here. 7-pin.
That's a Tenpai.
That is Tenpai.
Tanya Ura would do it.
Reach! Sumo Mangan, as we mentioned, will win it. Not the greatest weight, but best shot she has, I think.
Well, direct Ipatsu will also do it, but I don't think Sugawara is going to.
This is a tough one. I don't know. She might. This is a tough one.
Sir, surely pay first.
Okay. Gonna play it a little more safe.
Uotani. If Tsuo happens, she'll drop below Kitahara almost certainly.
Yeah, anything more than 900 point difference, a 1,000, 2,000 would do it. So 3 Han or higher. And we know it is a 3 Han or higher.
And Uotani also has to expect that it's 3 or higher, so might just fight that reason alone.
Strange draw for Kitahara. Probably too tough for her to push through. She's just hoping that Tomi can sumo enough points.
Well,
to put Uotani below her. Interesting draw. Sugawara might be able to find a tempai with that.
Yeah, it's actually kind of interesting. There's not a lot of information in the pond. So
Right.
Sugawara, if she wants to... Okay, 9 mon is one of the few safe tiles. The later it goes, the more inclined she is to not fight for it.
Yeah, especially with 8-mon being Dora. Pretty quick answer for Sugawara to just pair up those Dora. Oh, took a thought. Holding on to the 5 so actually. 7-mon. Just barely gets through there. What's this tile? It's an 8? Interesting option.
I believe 6 and 4 so are the so tiles in the discards. 2-pin. Suji?
Yeah, that actually means Sugawara might make tempai.
Oh, Uotani's not getting there.
Mm.
It's going to have one more chance, I think.
Well, thinking about calling for tempai, does she really need to? No, she doesn't. So she doesn't. Although the 2-pin was pretty safe.
Yeah,
so
yeah, she just cleared
I
it
wonder
before,
why
but
not?
maybe didn't want to change the draw.
A tough end for Uotani, not even able to make tempai to keep her dealer. Fortunately for her, Kitahara wasn't tempai as well, so that leaves her in third, but that's a small victory because there's only one game left and you got to aim for the top. So third or fourth, they're still both really far out of that top spot, which is what our players are really hoping for.
Yeah, big. I mean, that was smart from Sugawara to not call there for tempai and give Tomi one more draw for the high Tetsumo. And she's going to net a huge lead going into the final game.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Denying the sumo chance. Because that could have been a big disaster had it happened.
All right. So it comes down to this.
Yeah, our professional players doing their best. The third game, the final match of the Sankei Shimbun individual playoffs. And who better to commentate the big pro finals than the big pro herself, Jenn of JPML
Such
and
a medium
WRC.
pro. I often say that, they used to say I'm big in Japan. I always say I'm medium-sized in Japan.
What a series we've had so far, from the wildcard game to this first game of the finals.
Yeah, it couldn't be a more exciting final series. Thank you, Tibbs. And happy to
thank the players, of course. Making it so exciting.
All right, yeah, I don't know what to say. So give me something.
Well,
Give me something to say.
there's only one game left.
Only one game left the whole season. It's been, we had 16 regular season sessions. Split into, I think, 32 broadcasts throughout the year. Plus, we had the individual playoffs for 2 days. We had the team playoffs and finals for 2 days. And now it's been the individual finals for 2 days. Which has been split. Of course, it's double for us because we split it into 2 days. Okay.
We've seen so much, though, and...
Happy Mother's Day, everybody. I have mother duties coming to ask me to get hair done before they go to school. So it will take me just 1 second, and then we'll be ready to commentate the final table. We can look at the players, though.
Absolutely.
Maybe.
Let's go ahead and do that. I mean, the players are going to be the same, but they will be sitting in different positions, and that might have a little bit of bearing on how things end up playing out here. Once again, we're going to have in the first seat Tomi, who had started off that last game with the dealer Hanemon. It looked like she was in control the whole time.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
and in the end, got overtaken.
I think Tomi is. I think maybe the orgs are wrong here.
Oh yeah, this might be
Sorry.
a bit different, but well, Izumi Kitahara again had been mostly spectating, had a few challenges in this game, but could not manage to win ahead of, well, Tomi and Sugawara. Uotani also got a couple wins in there. Sugawara, of course, coming back with the Hanuman and Dealer Hanuman to steal the win away. And Uotani with I think that the big hand was that incredible Mawashi against Sugawara's Riichi, Dealer Riichi, where she ended up pairing up the Dealer tile, slamming a Riichi, and then drawing a third of the Dora and dealing in an incredible, unfortunate sequence for Uotani, but you could never count her out.
Yeah, and she's the last dealer. It's a perfect position to be in there. Actually, mate, can we just take a 2-minute break? I just want to get a correct image up on there.
So we will.
Sorry about that, everybody.
We can pause for a moment, and when we come back, we will have the final matchup. So stay tuned. All right, small break, but we are back. We are here for the final game. And it is indeed going to be the same players in the same seats. We saw a fantastic game one, and now we'll get to see the conclusion.
Yeah, Uotani is, I think, probably one of the favorites to win this game, but although she is coming in third place, being in the last dealer position with a score like that is massively advantageous because she can just keep going and just winning, basically, for eternity until she gets into first place. While the other players are going to have to play for conditions. In this game, you will not see any players winning in the last hand for second place or lower. Everybody is only playing for first place, and in the last hand in pro matches, in final tables like this, they are basically not allowed to win the hand if it doesn't put them in first place. So we don't play for placements here. It's win or nothing, basically.
Makes perfect sense to me. You want to be the champion of this league, and you have one final game to find your way. And I think I'm ready.
Yep, ready. Let's
to take a look at the game. Here we go. The players will have spent a little bit of time thinking about their strategy, their conditions that they need to beat coming to this game. And we get underway. Tomi rolls the dice, draw her first set of tiles. Now, she came in second place in the last game. So naturally, a first place of a margin that's greater than that of the previous game, which was just over, or rather just under 8,000 points. Because it was like 5,700 will be good enough. Or there's some placement considerations as well. So if she can send Sugawara into third place or fourth place, that will make her job a lot easier. We open up.
The 40. So the Oka and the Uma are both in place. So first player automatically gets plus 40. First place player.
Beyond that, Sugawara, it was just a strategy of winning hands and winning them quickly, preventing other players from winning monsters. Kitahara and Uotani both are out to be here for a very long time. They're hoping the game is very long as they continue over and over again as dealer.
And by this time, all the other players from today have gone home. So it's just these 4 players and the commentators left in the studio.
I believe we caught a glimpse of the My Pro doing Japanese commentary.
Yeah, first ever world champion commentating on this Pro Queen match. It's not the Pro Queen tournament, but they used to call it Fuji Queen. The website is Fuji Queen still. The Sankei Shimbun Cup. I think maybe in Japanese they have some nickname it the Queen Cup or something.
Mm-hmm. Certainly a title befitting the winner of this tournament. Oh wow, that's a great draw. Now you have the choice between your Tanyo or your Dora, and she'll discard the Dora. Maybe slightly better Ura chances this way. Oh, we're
Possibly, yeah, I'm not sure. I do like the 6 discard just in case someone pawns the Dora, but
yeah, that is a concern. It's always such an interesting hedge, and I'm sure Tomi was spending the time to balance both of those thoughts, and I thought maybe the odds of that happening were low enough this early on that someone would call after she reaches with a hand that can win. But definitely
another
something to
thing
consider.
I just thought of is if the other players see the Dora is safe, then it makes it a little bit easier for them to fold. So, and especially it's a harder Dora to use. So I'm starting to even like the 6 discard a little bit better. But maybe if she wanted fewer Suji options, the 6 gives you an extra 3 for the Suji. So, who
Makes it
knows?
easier for other players to fight. We are seeing a fight from Kitahara chasing Riichi, winning on 6-pin, 9-pin. So both of the tiles we've been talking about now deal into Kitahara. Oh, and the 9-pin Dora. Riichi, Haku, Dora 1. Ura is a Mon tile. 6 Mon, that's an Ura. And so that early Riichi.
Right off the bat.
Kitahara gets off to that early start that she's looking for, and she needs to keep that going.
Yeah, hopefully that triggers the momentum she needs.
Now, Sugawara isn't necessarily too terribly upset by this, actually, because that's her direct competition, her closest competitor, starting off with an 8,000 point loss, plus the Riichi stick as well. So Sugawara a little bit safer almost at this point.
Yeah, that's the best outcome for the first East round, besides winning the hand herself that she probably could have hoped for. One thing to keep in mind is these players also know each other, and I've done training sessions with players who have been on final tables, who are about to be on final tables with Uotani, and she is always the player that they are worried about. So her in the last place, last dealer position is, even though she comes into this game in third place, the other players are definitely watching her and deciding how to play accordingly.
That's true. Well, she's won so much in her Mahjong career that it makes sense. Always have an eye out.
She might have the most titles of any pro if you just count straight up titles. A fair number of them are women only tournaments, but not half of them. I mean, she's won plenty of open tournaments as well.
Such a strong player. And such a treat to get to watch her play in the finals. But everyone here is a strong player too, so
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
we're getting an absolute
Yes.
performance here. Nice hands, generally speaking, for everyone that 3-pin draws. It's good. It completes the shape, but also limits the value options. No longer are we thinking about the so flush. Bamboo, half flush, that is. Paimon. Straight into Ishanten. Next to the door as well, so Kitahara really strong shapes right now. And as dealer, could be another big hand. Another pair for Sugawara. Just throws it back. The pair is starting to accumulate in Uotani's hand as well. Will slim down from this 2-2-3-3-3-4 shape. Really just wants to draw another Dora Formon and confirm Ipeko as well. But we're going to see the Riichi from Kitahara. Riichi, Pinfu, Dora 1 as dealer.
Does have that momentum that she was looking for from that straight first Mongon win. We'll see if that translates into a hand win as well as dealer now. Uotani now. 2, 3, 4.
Starts with the safe 7 so, but is Ishantem. And I imagine we'll see a fight. Uotani.
Yeah, she kept the potential Ipeko, the twin sequence shape. Okay.
This is reminiscent of the critical round in the end of of the first game of the series. She finds this awkward headless shape. She could just play another safe 7 so and then hold a really inefficient one away, but yeah. Okay, gonna play the 8-pin instead.
Yeah, she does have the dealer reach to think about. Definitely whatever she discards here is going to be different if that wasn't on the table.
Absolutely. 8-pin Suji for now, and
would have been Tempai.
yeah. So a little shake of the head as to say, of course, this would be my draw, but we're here now, so we have to keep playing. I think that's always the mark of a really strong player is when you just roll with whatever comes your way. And you're not always going to get the perfect draws. You're not always going to get the draws that help you the most. You might even backfire. But whatever decisions you made earlier in the game have set you up for the spot you're in now. You just have to keep playing with it.
Now it feels like the wall is taunting her. 3 backfires in a row. But she maintains safety.
Yeah, Formon also no longer able to be drawn, contained by the hands of Kitahara and Tomi. Interesting choice here for Sugawara. We'll just 8 so. And that is a 2-mon. Backfires continue. But keep in mind, the tiles that she would have had to jam before this also would have been really tough. Like, you don't want to be dropping a 3-mon.
I wonder why they don't have the winning tiles displayed today. I feel like they did before. On the overlay.
Maybe it gives us... Oh, Tempai. And, of course, we're going to take it. This is the finals after all.
With the reach, I'm not sure I've seen that many backfires leading into a reach before. That might be a record for me.
There were only 3 tiles left in the wall at the time of the Riichi, but that's okay. If she hits, she's really targeting Kitahara's discard where she has no control over what gets discarded. And, well, it didn't win, but neither did Kitahara. So both players, Uotani and the dealer, will collect 1,500, leave their Riichi sticks in the middle of the table. And Kitahara will continue with her dealership. One honba.
Uotani calls herself a final table junkie. And I just think, how many final tables you have to make to actually be able to say that about yourself.
Once you get a taste of sitting at the final table, you just... It's too addicting.
Yeah.
It really is a
And
big thrill. So much.
And she actually has done it so many times that she can say that. I think I've been in a final table once, maybe twice, so I haven't reached that junkie level status.
The amount of pressure is so much higher. The deeper you get into a tournament, the final table is the epitome of all that pressure. Here we go. 2-mon Anko draw for Kitahara is excellent. And a 5 Sokachan fill for Sugawara. Draws coming in fast and furious. Diamond shape created by Uotani, so maybe overblocked there a bit. Tomi with a call. 2 So Pom. Aiming for the flush here. Becomes even more deadly when the Dora is an honor tile, because honor tile is, well, every flush suit it fits in. Wonder if this is going to cause the players to adjust their approach here. Certainly for Sugawara, she has the most incentive to be cautious, but Uotani might just have to fight against this, even regardless of the potential value threat. And yes, Sugawara really stuck here with the Hatu. You absolutely cannot discard it at this point. Oh, that's a good point. Kitahara here holding the Dama on the 7-pin. Not wanting to slam a Riichi. Out it comes. Tanyo only. So we'll collect the Riichi sticks. The honba will be added to the total as well. A cool 2,000 becomes 2,300. Or sorry, 4,300 with the Riichi sticks.
Kitahara also has been in the pro scene, I think, about as long as I have. We're almost the same, I think, the year that we joined. Of course, she's NPM, Nihon Professional Mahjong Association, along with Tomi to her left. And the two players with their backs facing us right here are JPML. So there's also that org versus org dynamic happening here. But these players are all also good friends. Friendship extends beyond organizations in the pro community.
When you dedicated so much of your life to mastering the game, it's hard not to be friends with everyone who's done such a similar endeavor. Interesting.
Yeah, and I mean, we play in this league together. There's many other also women's leagues and tournaments that they end up together on, video shoots, photo shoots, and also end up being guests with each other at mahjong parlors.
We're seeing some very interesting draws here. Another triplet in hand for Kitahara. Maybe a Manzu flush for Sugawara. Doesn't need all that value, but could just find its way there. Potential monster brew for Kitahara. And I'm curious if she's at all inclined to open, or if she'll stay closed. I mean, the gap was quite large to begin with. Even now, it's 64 points. Yakuman, certainly one of the ways to collect a lot of points very quickly.
I mean, we used to have abortive draws So a lot of players would, do the Kyushu Kyuhai, 9 types, 9 tiles. Some players, even when that was an option, never did that. I'm one of those players as well, but yeah, it's just so cool to get Yakuman on the screen when you're a dealer, when everyone's watching.
Certainly, and Uotani, a second call here. Look at all these honor tiles. 6 unique honor tiles and 2 calls.
I think Corak would approve.
Oh, he absolutely would. It's one of his favorite things to do is call 3 times and have 4 completely separated tiles. And this is a really important decision now, as I don't think, Sugawara could cut 4 mon and 1 mon and guarantee the Chanta, but we'll cut the Haku instead. And now the choice goes to Kitahara, who will call for Haku Dora 1 Tempai. But she could pair up one of those So tiles in the diamond shape and end up with a Toy Toy as well.
Toy Toy with also potential Sananko 3 concealed triples.
Absolutely.
Depending on...
Opening here, not necessarily limiting the value too much. There's still opportunities to get manga minimum. Or even Hanuman if you pair up the Dora.
I think what I'd be hoping for is drawing the 5 bamboo and waiting for the 6/7.
That makes a lot of sense. You still get the 2-sided weight. You can still win on the Dora, though, for the big hand.
Yeah, and winning on the Dora from anybody would also be the Sananko. But we have Tempai for Sugawara with that call.
I just never assume that I can draw a triplet. Uotani as well is hoping to draw the 5, so only 1 in the wall. Sumo.
She'll just draw the winner instead.
We'll get a bit of bonus fu though with the Haku and the 2 concealed triplets, so pumps up the value a little bit. 2 on 40 fu. 13 all plus the Honba. Comes a cool 15 all, 4,500. Kitahara continues to win. We're still here in East 2, and that's exactly what she wanted.
Yeah, she'll get a 3rd turn at dealer. Now her biggest goal of this game has shifted to trying to make Sugawara negative. She's already ahead of Sugawara. But Sugawara is still in 2nd place. Dropping her down to 4th place would make the job a lot easier for Kitahara.
So at this point, it's probably too early. But do you ever pass a win to try to target Sugawara directly?
No.
Still too early.
It's still too early.
Yeah, it seems like really just an all last sort of thing, or maybe a South 3 after your dealership is passed if the gap margin is too large.
Yeah, I mean, passing up a win is really tricky in these rules. There's only 2 games. I think the conditions have to really call for it, and that doesn't happen until she has no more dealer turns left, in my opinion.
That sounds absolutely correct. Sugawara will open up here with the green dragon. Uotani's collecting a lot of value. I saw door 2 in there. Kitahara as well, shifting towards the Manzu flush. And a great draw. Sugawara. How incredible these hands have made such quick progress. This was a little tough with a couple Kanchan shapes, 2 so 4, so will be the cut here. Tempai already. Sugawara with a monster. Yakuhai. Honitsu. Chanta. Maybe even another Yakuhai if she gets the Haku. Oh, and it might be coming soon.
Yeah, I think it would definitely come out of Kitahara's hand if she tempais. That's if she gets Tonki, she might choose to wait on the white dragon, but instead we'll have a reach from Uotani. The more expensive side will be a Sanshoku. Needs Tangyao, possible Sanshoku mix sequences with the 4-5-6 shape.
Best opportunity she's had this game.
Also means, of course, that she has no defense if she draws the one character or the white dragon. I think there's one more white dragon left in the wall. Is that correct?
I believe so. So far, so good. 3-so, 6-so, being held up a bit. Wow, all 4 8-so in this hand. Is it possible to con? No, just throws it back. You could even sometimes use that.
No, it's not dangerous to the two players who are calling.
And it's Tsuchi to the Riichi, so it only deals into like a Konchan shape. And you expect if she has... Oh, okay, gonna just throw them all out, it looks like. Yeah, Konchan shape was not possible with all the 9-so out, so really just Gebutsu. Dora 3, but can't use it.
So we have 3. We can see 3 of Uotani's more expensive winner, I think. One is the Dora indicator and 2 left in Tomi's hand.
We're so again close. All these so tiles, 2-so, 4-so, 5-so, 5-so, 7-so, and yet the 3-so, 6-so winner has not come out.
When I'm playing, then it always puts me in a grumpy mood. Like, such BS. Why can't I draw all the bamboos except for those ones? And everyone discards all the bamboos except for those ones.
Right. You'd think the flush players wouldn't be able to use it. It's just they haven't drawn any. And the only other so tiles that have been drawn is I think Tomi with all the 8-so. That hasn't been it either.
Yeah, Sugawara has not slowed down at all, no matter what she draws so far, but no 3-6 bamboos coming in there.
Every time Kitahara draws, I worry that she'll cut one mon or Haku. But it hasn't come out yet.
There's one Haku left in the balcon.
It's not Sumo. If she can't pull it out of the live wall, maybe she can the dead wall. And another Dora.
So close. I think maybe she touched the edge of that with her thumb. It's like, it's bamboo. Which one is it?
She from Tomi.
And there is a possibility that how many tiles do we have left? That Tomi may, if she tempais, she may actually discard that 6. The 4 is more likely, but
yeah, I think the 4-so is passed already. Oh, there it is. So tempai for Tomi. There is it possible that Uotani can't get the win? Kitahara did draw the deal-in tile, but it's holding south.
Yeah, she ended up folding her hand, so she's not discarding that. She's not dealing in at all.
Jam. Sugawara says, I don't like it, but I don't care. 8 mon is clear. Now the Kitahara draw Hatsu, I believe, is also safe, so she has plenty of safety. 3 mon can switch the weight, but it's Genbutsu, so no reason to not throw it out. And there it is! Not the expensive side, but at this point...
Oh, neat. Tsumo Dora Dora.
Ura, ura, ura! She flipped.
That was the other 6.
The other 6. That's why she couldn't sumo it. They were all S indicators. Riichi, Tsumo, Tanya, Ura, 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 Dora, Dora. I'm counting by mon. What a nuts hand for Uotani. And Kitahara taking the Oyakawi is in second now. So Things shift once again. Sugawara gets the dealership, but Uotani's fighting now up to plus 10. That's only 28 points behind Sugawara.
Yeah, and that drops Izumi down. She'd climbed up to a positive score overall, and now she's back down to 33 just from that Uotani win.
Suddenly, Uotani overtaking Tomi now, who falls to last. Still opportunities. Remember, Sugawara isn't too far ahead of Tomi. If they exchange places, that will make a pretty dramatic shift in what we see as the live scores in yellow right now. Two honor pairs, but not a clear flush here for Kitahara. Uotani with a relatively straightforward hand. Will she call this first one? She does. Perhaps emphasizing the goal of ending the dealership of the point leader. That's a somewhat useful draw. We've dropped the 1 pin already, but Uotani can certainly draw it back and make use of it, or throw the 2 pin out later. And so that's a block. It's not a great one, but as dealer you value the W East, she will, and cut away from the pair.
Yeah, it was a block, but it turned it into 6 blocks, and that will complete the sequence, making up for the Furiten that she had with the 1 dot for Uotani.
Yeah, I like it. You know, you don't always have to fear the Furiten. Sometimes, especially with a 3-sided shape, you can draw that back into Tempai, and if you don't, you could always just break away from the Furiten shape as well. But that extra tile acceptance is a lot of times worth it.
Yeah, I was saying yesterday that we had a study session with one of the new World Reach professionals. Tomasz is here in Japan right now. Danny and myself, and my lesson for the day was don't be afraid of Furiten. And it turned out after that, every player at the table just started reaching with Furiten almost every hand. It was the weirdest. It's like the wall heard us and said, all right, you want to practice with Furiten? Here you go.
That is so amusing. I mean, it is a really funny thing that happens when you study Mahjong. You know, your brain sort of focuses on the one thing, as we see Tempai here for Uotani. It's like Yakuha only. But, you know, you focus on it so much, it just seems to show up more. It seems like your play sort of leads itself to find yourself in those positions. You know, whether you're studying efficiency or defense or practicing open hand, like playing with 3 calls or something like that. You always seem to find yourself in those spots. And that's why I feel like whenever I learn or try to incorporate a new concept into my play always gets worse because I'm thinking about it too much. But it's important because it, you know, getting a lot of experience with that new concept is only valuable. Even if it's making your play slightly worse, it gives you the ability to make good decisions in the future.
And Sumo Uotani is on a roll. And we will see her not let up. She's going to be relentless going forward as it goes into her dealership.
The gap lessens slightly. Now,
Yeah, there are a couple of phrases that I like when we're talking about studying Mahjong. I borrowed from poker as well. But when you feel like you're doing the worst, there's this with the languages when you're learning a second language, and also when you're studying Mahjong, I think when you feel like you're playing the worst or that your play has suffered, generally that's when you're improving. And when you're just winning and winning, you're not really improving. There's not that much to think about.
right.
Also, You're never as bad as you think you are when you're losing, and you're never as good as you think you are when you're winning. Those are my two favorite
Oh, I really like that one.
phrases to go with mahjong.
Yeah, I always try to keep like an even balance of optimism about my own play, because too pessimistic and you don't take enough chances. Too optimistic, if you think you can win everything, then you might make decisions that are well, a little too risky. A healthy balance is super important. Uotani with a really straightforward approach here, just playing maximal efficiency. Tomi with potential pin flush. A lot of kanshan shapes here for Kitahara, as well as the 3-3-4-4 pin, which is a little bit awkward to handle. Great shapes for Sugawara. Will be able to fight for this hand. It's interesting because this hand really needs a pair, and the 8-mon sort of fulfills that condition, but not really, because we'd like the 7-8-9 Sanshoku. Now Uotani faced with an interesting decision to hold this 3-so floater. Also looking for a pair in this hand. Actually, cutting the 3-so will give a headless position, but the shapes are hard to work with, and so yeah, we'll just cut away from the 9-so, 8-so. Try to connect something to that 3-so. Oh, sorry, 9-mon, 8-mon. As expected, Sugawara doesn't hold on to that extra 8 for long.
You have to imagine that Sugawara is thinking right now about how to keep Uotani at bay. I would say, as far as final tables go, Uotani definitely has more experience than Sugawara. Both players extremely strong with a lot of experience on broadcast tables, obviously, with their M-League experience.
Of course. 8-so pair up. Ishantam. Diamond. Uotani exchange at 9-8-mon drew at 1-so. That's not super helpful. A lot of the 2-so have been discarded already. Another pin draw that brings her a step closer still. A couple tiles away from hitting that tempai. Sugawara will get rid of that A-pin as early as possible. Don't want to be holding pin tiles late against an assumed flush, maybe even a full flush hand. Tempai found. We will see the Riichi. Riichi Pinfudora, 1-4 pin is the weight.
She was sort of hoping for a Sanshoku, just hedging it, really. Did not manifest. Tomi continuing with her flush. She did keep all those honor tiles, which are relatively safe to most reaches. So she can keep going with that for now.
Kitahara Ishantam. She drew a
Maybe not with that 4.
she drew a 5 pin, so
Oof,
there's some hope.
indeed.
Uotani really stuck on this 2-pin draw that definitely looks dangerous. You don't know if you haven't seen lower pins because Tomi is collecting them all, or because the other players are waiting on them, but Sugawara is indeed waiting on a lower pin shape. It's just not the 2-pin. Oh, she finds the Tsumo Pinfudora, and that's a Mon tile. Hits an Ura. The full Mangan. That's a big win for Sugawara. 12,000 point swing on Uotani.
Yeah, and that's massive. That ends Uotani's first dealership and brings us into the south round.
It also puts some distance on Tomi as well, so really tough for Tomi to make a comeback. Needs to make something out of this dealership. Even after coming to this game in second place, the other players have had such fast and expensive tempis. But this is promising for value, at least. Collection of bond tiles in the hand of Tomi.
Important to know that this is maybe the last time of the game that every single player will have a decent chance at taking first place still. As long as you have a dealership, the thing is with the Uma, and I mean, if, for example, if Tomi just draws 2 dealer Mongons, then that will put her into a first place position and a great position to actually take the lead away from Sugawara.
Absolutely. I always say with the dealership, there's a chance because you can always run it up. There's always hope of that. And if I was Tomi right now, I'd be looking at this hype high and thinking, this could be something special. Unfortunately, we're trying tiles in other suits, but even just winning, Riichi Mahjong, flipping Una, that's a great start.
And there always is a chance as long as you have a dealer turn, but also, although the scores differences look sort of big, we have to remember that first place is going to get an extra plus 40. So the actual differences are a little bit smaller than what it feels like when you see the yellow numbers there on screen.
The yellow numbers, only live standings, doesn't account for future changes, and well, that's Dora 2. That's fantastic. We'll have to resolve the complex mon shape. Could even find Itsu on top of things. The straight 1 through 9 in the Monzu. Ishantem for Kitahara. Tempai Sugawara did draw into her Chitoi and Dama on the Chun.
Yeah, although there's something to be said about putting pressure on the other players when you're in first place. When you have a sort of mid-weight, like not the best weight, and you want to be able to switch to defense if you need to. There's no need to take extra risks with reach.
Wow. Big draw for Uotani. She spotted the Sanchoku and just went straight for it with a 5-pin, not even hedging the 6-pin draw. She said, I'm going for the value, and got there too.
Yeah, and she needs the value. And this is exactly why Sugawara did not reach. Reaching definitely would not have stopped Uotani, so I think it was a great move to keep this hand closed, and now she can take the defensive mode if she needs to.
Oh, and the 4-pin.
Or wants to.
It's not.
She had
You feel
discarded
sad.
the 2.
You feel so sad. It's like, if only I had switched my weight. I could have ended this, and now I have to think more.
True, but it is more likely that the other players would discard the red dragon into her than the 4 dot.
I always hate making the decision about whether to play the slightly safer tile or the slightly better win rate tile. I always seem to pick wrong. It's so tough to jam here. Close to the Dora, which is 6, of course. And naturally the tune comes out immediately afterwards. I know this feeling. Something that just about every Mahjong player can relate to.
I mean, in this case, it came out because she discarded it, though. It was safe to the reach.
Yeah, naturally. But I think it might have come out anyway because Tomi has to really fight for this hand. Might not have come out immediately, but... Oh!
Yeah.
She finds the itso anyway. Turns out all of the weights were correct.
She was destined to win this hand, apparently.
Now that is the best feeling in Mahjong, where it doesn't matter which choice you make, you're gonna win anyway. And that's kind of relevant as well, in terms of placement. If something happens to Kitahara, so we'll jump into second place. So even if Uotani goes on a bit of a run, there'll be an extra buffer. If Sugawara can
Yeah, this
jump.
all but knocks Tomi out of the race, so that leaves 2 opponents that Sugawara has to fend off to maintain her lead.
And the pressure comes to Kitahara now. Her chance to attempt the dealer run had quite a lengthy dealership in the East rounds. I think it went to 3 Homba before Uotani had a monster by Mansumo. Dora 1 so. Pretty advanced hand here for Uotani. It's got 2 completed blocks and a south pair. The backbone of an Itsu here is a skeleton of Soze. Needs to fill all the tiles in between. And as you said, Tomi is going to be aiming for large hands from here on out. So we might expect her draws and discards to look a little strange.
Yeah, she'll have to get first place and make up a 70-point difference with Sugawara. I think she's not quite in the Yakuman or bust mode, but getting very close to there.
For sure. Kitahara, such a slow hand to put together. Unfortunately for her, Sugawara Uotani also not the fastest. In fact, Sugawara even just throwing away the Dora, don't need that for her goals, which are just to win the hand and end the threat as quickly as possible. Oh, great 6-0 draw, moving 2 tiles away from Tenpai. Uotani has too many shapes. Trim away a 9 mon. Kitahara, great pickup. Really needs to fill these Conchon shapes in order to compete with this potential callability that Sugawara has. Although I'm not sure how eager she will be to open the hand. Oh, wow. This is Tenpai, so...
South, there's value with the south tile, but...
She could consider cutting south-south and aim for Pinfu with potentially Peiko. We'll make that play.
That's what she does.
There's also 3-pin and 6-pin draws that can shift you into Tanyao as well. Each. Not waiting for an improvement, just slams the 5-so. And this is also...
Interesting fill-in, yeah, for Sugawara.
Yeah, 9-so out. Safe to the Riichi.
Possible full straight coming. Full straight incoming.
That is a great value play as well. We need to find 1-pin or 3-pin. There's a 3-mon, so yeah, going to just slide away. Uotani doesn't necessarily need to worry about a Kitahara win, because we will see another round.
Yeah, if anything, Kitahara winning and taking points away from Sugawara maybe helps Uotani slightly.
Particularly if Kitahara can hit Sugawara directly, then that would be ideal. If it's a sumo, that's kind of a wash. Same for Yukiko. Oh, and there's the one. If she could have trusted the 3-mon, 6-mon, would be Tenpai right now in the 3-pin for the Itsu, but 3-mon, 6-mon, quite a dangerous Tsuchi to jam against a dealer Riichi.
Especially when you have one of each. If it's just one, you can often justify it for the value, but pushing both. I mean, I guess if you do the middle one, then you can do the other one later. But
I was gonna say I've seen that used as the justification. Hey, if this goes through, the other one will too. So
But I think when you're holding both of them, then it feels like you don't have any blockers, right? That you just have the Suji, so it feels
Yeah.
like it makes the whole Suji a lot more dangerous.
Especially when you're holding 3 out of 8 tiles there.
Oh, 3, so yeah, it was exactly, it's just a pair, so.
Players, well, it's Tenpai. It's Huritan. I don't think she wants to risk anything to play for this. What is the 5-pin? Sorry, 4-pin. Doesn't seem that safe.
It's half Suji.
We'll go with the safe Mon tile instead. And
I mean, that's something you might have seen from another player who needs to win and needs value, but Sugawara is still playing in a defensive position and doesn't need to be the aggressor here.
right. It's back. And plays the Suji. Wow, suddenly pairs accumulating for Uotani. She is Suanko Ishanten. That wasn't the position I expected she would find herself in. Can she play out the 7? Yeah, this makes more sense.
Shanten. How many are you away from either Suanko or Kokshi? The only Shantens that matter.
Shanten of 1 temporarily, but folded away from that. These discards are not so easy for Sugawara. There hasn't been a lot of information provided by the Riichi player. I'm sure Uotani looked at her hand and said, well, if I get Suako Tenpai, I'm either jamming 3-mon, which is dangerous on the 3-mon, 6-mon Sushi that I'm holding so many of, or 7-pin, which is also I'm holding 4 of those tiles. And back to Tenpai again. At this point, you have to take it. Like the wall is telling you something. The ball says push.
I mean, it feels like it's taunting. It was doing this to Uotani a couple turns ago, a couple hands ago, and Uotani was the dealer.
No, it says, I'll stay content,
She'll not
I'll
be
stay
bullied.
safe.
Stop trolling me, wall.
Yeah, it's tough to like psychologically say no to the wall this many times in a row.
You call that? It's not peer pressure.
It's like
More like a power harassment thing. I am the wall and I have all the power. You will obey.
just pure endurance. Would you like Tenpai? Would you like Tenpai? Would you like Tenpai? Eventually you have to say yes, right? So stay away.
Yes. Testing your willpower.
That's exactly it. Kitahara will maintain the dealership. That was really all she was expecting from that Riichi. Would have been nice to, randomly Tsumo and flip San or something. But more importantly, she gets another chance at dealer where her hand was not that strong last time. Might not be that strong this time, but Sugawara.
This is really close to Kokshi.
Maybe closest hand Chata, if not Kokshi.
Yeah, Chanta, but
feels pretty sad.
Chanta just feels so valueless compared to Kokshi.
If you're gonna go for a long shot, you might as well get 32,000 points with it, right?
Feels like it. I was thinking that we need an educational program to keep kids from being pressured into Tenpai by the trolling wall. Something like a DARE program.
For the Americans. Americans will understand. I wonder if they have similar programs elsewhere.
I think a fair number of people have heard about it elsewhere just because the t-shirt campaign was so good. I had a white one. We got those for 5th grade graduation.
This entire round seems like it's going to be a struggle for everybody. Uotani is 2 away from Tempai, but again, Kanchan shapes are a little bit tricky.
I wonder if did they have Dare in Canada? Was that like a? Did we share that with the other countries in the continent, or was that only the U.S.?
I don't actually
I
know.
think it was in Canada. We share a lot of TV.
Is this going to be a Sanchoku play? A 6 months Dora, so. What's your alternate? 8-pin maybe? 5-pin gives you path. No, just going to play.
Yeah, I think locking in the open-ended here is good.
That's a great draw. 5 so triplet. And also we're in the south round, so Kitahara does have the ability to call south. Tomi now with a similar thought process here. It feels like she was actually sort of playing for the Sanchoku to begin with, so I think she will aim for it. Choice to be made. Just throws it back. Not holding out for the 5-5-5-6-7 shape. With the 8 so having come out so many times, it's certainly weaker than normal. Another pair, not particularly useful. Now it goes. It's interesting, Uotani still hedging that 9-pin. Sugawara.
Nice feeling. Yeah. Locks in the pair. And it gives a sticky one away, I think, for Sugawara. Waiting for something to stick to that 6 dot. Which, of course, has a sort of... You can split up those 4 tiles to have 2 open-ended weights. Or if something sticks to the 6 character instead. 6 to the 6 character instead. That's also a great tempo.
Do we con? Couldn't tell. I believe she had a 1-mon pair, so I think the con option was available. Which I think if it was available, then she would have. It's kind of interesting.
Now we have that double open-ended shape in 2 places in Sugawara's hand. So she has the 5-6-6-7 shape in dots and the 2, I think the 3-4-4-5 shape in bamboos. Yep.
Dora out for Sugawara. She doesn't need the value, but it doesn't hurt to have it.
Yeah, but there's 8 types of tiles that give her open-ended tempai.
Some thought from Tomi. Just throws the 6 back because she has all the shapes she wants. The ones for Sanchoku.
There it is.
Tempai found. And
it's a 4-7 not tempai for Sugawara. She does not reach. And now Uotani is also tempai, waiting for the middle 7 character, and she also does not reach.
Eight-mon can pair. Choose your pair. Also, Toy is possible with 3-mon, 4-mon cut. It's hard to tell which mon tiles have been cut at this angle, but I think the 7 and 8 are pretty live to the board at least. I don't know about what's held by other players.
Well, we know Uotani has an 8, but not a 7, because that's what she needs to win. But she cannot win on a discard. There's the other 8.
Well, you can choose your pair now. We get a good look. All the 4 and 7 and 8-mon are not visible to Kitahara.
Yeah, and discards the 4, keeping the blockers for the 7 blockers, and also probably thinking that helps her to be able to pull in the 8. Oh. But Uotani will draw the middle 7, just Sumo Doraichi. 2,000 point gain plus one continuance, and one reach stick on the table.
Whenever you win a Dama Tsumo, it always feels like a missed chance, but at the same time, it was a difficult Riichi. And Sugawara was Tenpai. Kitahara wishing she could have been the one to draw that 7-1.
And go into South 3, and now Kitahara is also essentially out of the race. Tomi and Kitahara now are going to be looking for massive Yakuman type hands, while Sugawara and Uotani will battle it out as the penultimate and last dealer.
These are the two biggest chances for Uotani. Sugawara's dealership, where you can sumo and make her pay extra, and Uotani's dealership, where you can sumo indefinitely. And for Sugawara, that also makes this dealership really interesting because you kind of don't want to be the dealer, but at the same time, you want to win as many points as you can. Very interesting sort of competing motivations here.
I mean, Sugawara does have a buffer, but it has gotten smaller and smaller as Uotani has racked up wins throughout the game.
Keep in mind, though, Uotani, in terms of the live standings, is about 40 points away, and that's already including the first place bonus, because she is currently holding first place. So she needs to get 40 more raw points in order to catch up.
I wonder how I would play this as Sugawara. I feel like I would really want it to sort of end in an exhaustive draw. You know that Tomi and Kitahara are not going to go for anything unless they're massive hands. So you definitely don't want to deal into them. And you are the mark for everybody. So I feel like, yes.
It keeps improving. At some point, you just decide to play for the hand, right? Because it becomes too hard to fold.
I mean, yeah. Well, in some ways, that's the more defensive move. You keep other players from winning, and you keep them from having time to build up their hand.
Continue to get choices. Just throw it back. You don't have to think about it if you just imagine you never drew it. My internal Sanchoku alarm was going off, though.
Yeah, definitely. 4, 5, 6 shape. I mean, 5, 6, 7 shape.
Ishanten, though, for Sugawara. One away from Tenpai. And we'll probably get there first. It looks like Uotani is somewhat slow here. And as you said, Tomi, Kitahara both playing for large hands, maybe even in the same suit.
Yeah, so in a normal game, in a non-final table game, like a league game, which we've been watching all season, Sugawara wouldn't have to be so patient because all 3 players might win on any hand, but in this case, you know what the other players are playing for.
That was a really interesting choice there for Sugawara. Chitoi was an option, but you don't really want to play for pairs. You want to be able to call, especially when other players are forced to build Suanko and flush hands. Kitahara's getting close to something really exciting. Pon, Dora Pon. I love switching to the full face cam for that. So that's a lot of information suddenly. And suddenly Uotani's 1-2 pin looking a little weak.
Just 2 away from 4 concealed triples for Kitahara.
Surely we don't, Con. She's thinking about it. Is there a way to use this? Not really. She will
Fun.
con. Flips the
I
Forso.
don't know about this. It just gives other players so much more incentive to. It basically brings the hurdle down for the other players. So
It
I guess
does.
it depends on if you're reading how close they are to ready.
I think the most important read is your thoughts on how close Uotani is. If you think she's out, then it could be a really nice. I mean, she picked up Adora, so that's Dora 5 with Tanya. This is 18,000 points. It could just be game ending. Of course, Uotani with the last dealership always has a chance, but 5-8 pin would be such a big hand here.
Yeah. Even Tomi and Kitahara sort of have justification to reach with all those extra Dora. The extra Ura Dora.
Absolutely.
You know, maybe that's a strategy because we said before they're not going to win unless it's a monster hand, but maybe you give them some incentive to reach.
Oh yeah, that's actually pretty clever because they might reach with something lower value, and if they miss, like if they hit the Uda, okay, pull off a miracle. But if it's not a guarantee, right? I am
Yeah,
quite
it feels
good at
bigger
missing
enough.
Uda.
It's a skill. I mean, it still is. She still has a big enough buffer between those two players that if they reach for a non-Yakuman hand, then the all-last hand won't be that difficult, but with Uotani, she doesn't have that buffer.
Interesting move. Sugawara does not play the East. It's once cut. Just gonna back away from this.
Yeah, now that we get to the end, she sees no players have reached. We can just have a no 10 and go into the last hand where her conditions will be win and you win.
Believes the
Win
buffer
with
is
anything in
strong enough to not have to play any further. Just so rare that you see someone pass up 18,000 point tempai. But here we are, no players tempai, so the point conditions will remain the same going into all last.
We are here. Tomi, I don't know if you can pause it for a second, but so Tomi just needs to sumo 6,000, 12,000, which is Sanbaimon. Or win double Yakuman from Kitahara or Yakuman. Just Yakuman from Sugawara or Uotani. So, yeah, easy Yakuman. Easy Sanbaimon. Kitahara has to sumo double Yakuman, and if she wins from Uotani, it has to be triple Yakuman. From Sugawara, just needs a Yakuman. Of course, we said Sugawara just has to win the hand with anything, and she is the champion. Uotani, in order to get first place in one hand, has to win a sumo Sanbaimon, or win a Baimon from Sugawara, Yakuman from Tomi, or double Yakuman from Kitahara. Okay, can play it again. But of course, Uotani can continue as dealer as long as she wants, so she does not have to fill these conditions here right now. Tomi and Kitahara will have to try and build hands that do fulfill these conditions, so they will not be winning on any hand except for those shown on the screen.
And Sugawara again with that win and the game condition is, you'd think it'd be easy to play, but when you have to factor in the Uotani can't repeat forever, that can make things a little challenging because you make yourself too vulnerable just calling things down to try to get a fast win, and Uotani slams a Riichi, suddenly you might find yourself vulnerable and dealing it directly, which is the absolute worst outcome.
Right. Yeah, so she wants something similar to what we saw her playing with the all pairs hand. We have something that you can win on if it comes out, but you can shift back to defense if necessary. And Sanbaimon is even less common than Yakuman in most cases. So the only thing she really has to worry about in this case, in this first, at least if it's only one all last hand, is to not deal Baimon into Uotani. The other things I think are just so rare that it's hard to be on guard for them.
Well, in a moment, we will get to the start of All Last. Depending on the initial draws, we could be here for a very long time, or it could be very short. I'm imagining Chiho to end it.
All right.
Could be very fast.
And Ippomba. Uotani puts out the marker for the continuance.
Extra 300 points to the winner. Uotani can happily collect those points. We are underway here in All Last. By Pandora, pair of which in Uotani's hand. Great 6-pin as the final draw for her. That's a lot of honor tiles. That's promising for Tomi.
Tomi.
We've seen a lot of
Actually-
Yakuman conditions at the end of these playoff games. I think that's the most honor tiles in a single high pie I've seen.
Yeah, she definitely has a shot at Kokushi. Sugawara's are not quite as easy as she would hope for calling and getting to Tenpai quickly, but not the worst top pie ever either.
She sort of has the blocks for a 1-2-3 Sanchoku, and somewhat usefully, the tiles she needs are 3-pin, 3-mon, and 2-so. Not the terminal tiles, which normally is a bad thing, but if the player on your left is aiming for a Kokushi or aiming for, a Tsuiso, all honors, you kind of prefer to be waiting on the more central tiles, so you have more calling options.
Oh, that's a great fill-in for Sugawara.
Might
Makes
have-
it just a teeny bit easier.
Yeah, I might have to give up on the Sanchoku thoughts now. Too many completed blocks that aren't 1-2-3.
Yeah, to get rid of the side weight. Start out with. Another thing is she cannot hope for a exhaustive draw because Uotani is definitely going to go for Tenpai and go for the win.
Mm.
And she's just such a strong and efficient player. It's very unlikely that she will end up in no 10 at the end of the hand.
It would be absolutely tragic if she didn't get draws to Tenpai. Now, if Sugawara gets a Riichi Nomi, I mean, we have one door in hand, but if it's Riichi Nomi bad weight to use to slam, that's good enough to win the game. We are Ishandam.
Yeah, it's just that the neck there is just that side weight in the Manzu, the character suit.
Mm-hmm. Ideally, of course, she would draw the 3-mon for Pinshu and she could Dama. But if she draws 5 or 8 mon, that is a Tenpai.
I think now she even kind of hopes for F4, the Summon, the 4 of characters. So she has something to call into a, oh.
Well then. Shosushi.
So she see, or Kokushi can hedge 2 Yakuman at the same time.
Couldn't have asked for anything better in that position.
Yeah, so Sugawara is gonna probably look for a potential shift to Tanyao. No, that she's definitely gonna do it, but she's gonna have her eyes open for what she can do in that aspect.
Absolutely. Even there's some worlds where you just pull and say, I'm Ishanta for Tanyao.
It's Kokushi.
Have all the honor tiles now. We just need 1-so, 9-pin, 9-mon, 9-so. There it is. There's the pull. And so the plan is clear for Sugawara. And that also means Uotani needs to get Tenpai as quickly as possible.
Oh my god, that's so many wins.
It's kind of
Tomi.
incredible. But Tempai for Sugawara on the 2-mon, and she can switch this weight at her leisure. Uotani really needs to find Tempai's as quickly as possible.
I mean, Tomi does have the makings of a double Yakuman. Doesn't have quite enough tiles of each, but she has the very basis of all the tiles she needs for Tsui Social Sushi.
And
All honors and 4 wins. Sorry.
Strong weight now for Sugawara. 5-8, and a third Dora. That's Tempai.
That's Tempai that with a 5 that deals in, and
Reach.
there it is.
Oh.
The reach tile deals in.
And that's gonna end it.
Sugawara is our champion. Look at her face. This is redemption. Sugawara just released from the Beast Mode team in M League.
They better start writing up a new contract. What a victory from the wild card. She came in, scored 50,000 points there, scored over 50,000 points in game 1, and locks it up here in the second game of the finals.
There are your final scores of both games combined. Uotani is the runner-up, followed by Tomi and then Kitahara. Everyone played an amazing game. Amazing few games, not just one.
Absolutely.
An amazing season.
Absolutely. The playoffs were as dramatic as we could possibly have hoped for. And huge congratulations to Sugawara for the incredible victory.
Like, it's just overcome with emotion.
A little emotion showing, and absolutely deserved. What an incredible performance.
Yeah, we do have an exclusive interview with Sugawara that we will post later today, so make sure that you are subscribed to the channel and that you're getting notifications so that you can check that out when it pops up. Also, we will be taking, there is a short break before the next season, but it won't feel like it because since we only broadcast this once or twice, sometimes 3 times a month, we're going to start right back up with next month. And Team WRC does have a team. Mio and I will be on the team, and we'll be announcing the full team later this week. So look forward to that as well.
That'll be fantastic.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be an amazing season. Our commentators are all seasoned, so I think that we can, and are all well versed now in the tournament and the system and everything. We have our new World Reach Pro Mahjong tags on our bestest commentators. I think it's gonna be an amazing season, and we still have also the Saikyosen team battle next week. So although the Sankei Shimbun Cup wraps up with this event, or this season, today, Saikyosen Team Battle is only in their second session next week. So lots and lots of professional mahjong here still to come. Even before we reach the WRC happening at the first week of July. And so much content coming from that as well. We already have some events planned, some shoots planned. We have also shoots that we have already filmed with some of our World Reach Pro Mahjong players. Tamash was here and played in the JPML Masters tournament. And we have a full sort of docu-series on that spread across 3 channels. So that's going to be a really exciting project. We're going to get into the editing for that in the next week or 2. Collaboration with JPML. So much content coming to you. Please make sure that you're followed, that you have notifications on, that you have liked all the videos, and tell your friends too. You want to watch more mahjong? This is the place to do it.
Fantastic
That's
stuff.
all I have to say.
Well, it's been an incredible season, a long season, but I think I can speak for all of the commentators when I say thank you to everybody for tuning in. It is so much more meaningful to us when we see your comments and all the excitement that you have to share with us when we're watching these games. So we really appreciate you, and we're looking forward to an absolutely fantastic upcoming season next time around for the next year of the Sankei Shimbun Cup. We'll see you soon for our next season's broadcast in June. Before that, the Psycho-Sen team battle coverage continues. Thank you so much, Jenn. I have to say, for all of the work that you've put into managing the season. It's been incredible, and we look forward to watching your team next season.
Thank you. Thank you. The broadcasters have really just saved my butt all the time with these broadcasts. It's a lot of work, and I tend to make a lot of mistakes, but I really appreciate everybody making up for those and working so hard to make this stream a success. And I think it's just going to get better and better. And those of you that watch this not live but later as well, we see you too. Hopefully we'll also have some more like merch giveaway and stuff. I'm hoping, I don't know, because I'm not like part of this planning process, but I'm hoping that we can snag some swag from the WRC so we can have another giveaway in the summertime. We had the book giveaway in January, so. And I think we're also going to try and work out some online tournaments for paid members. So please consider joining with the monthly membership on the YouTube channel so that you can have access to some of those things as we get them in place. And it also really just supports us because, you know, we're all doing this as volunteer right now, which is fine, but there's a lot of things we would like to improve, and sometimes that takes budget. So any support is really appreciated. And just the numbers is support as well, so.
What a fantastic year. Now, Corak's not here, but I feel it'll be remiss to not give the Corak conclusion. So, for Corak and Chiral, and Tips, and Jenn and myself, thanks everybody for tuning in to the season of the Sankei Shimbun Cup, and we'll see you next time.